Snark Tank. You're about to get your ears glazed by the great Chris Raygun, Derek Blackman, and Tom Sweeney. Sit back and prepare for some action. Sit back and prepare for some glazing glory.
He's not doing the audio?
No, fuck no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the audio probably isn't really that hard to do anymore. It's just simply syncing them.
It's the act of it's tedious.
Yeah.
You know? That's why I have Derek do it.
Audio editing in general sucks. I think video editing is actually kind of cool. I think audio sucks.
Audio is easier.
I mean, it is easier. Still more It's not as cool, though.
No, there's less you can do, obviously.
You can just change the pitch or something.
It was a lot of fun though, because like when I started editing the show, I used to like really fuck with our conversations, like a lot. Like if there was a point that before we had cameras, if there was a point where we were recording and maybe we talked over one another, I would simply I would make it so like, okay, I'm gonna have mine go first, then have Kingston's after, and then Derek's last. So that way we're not talking over each other, but it's a complete misrepresentation of what the conversation was. Because that's just not how it happened.
You're sequencing it. You're resequencing everything, so you're not on top of each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which was fun to do, but it was also tedious and no one noticed or cared.
It's going to take forever, but you have a clean record.
No one cares about this podcasting. They want raw footage. And doing all those bells and whistles is just making you age yourself for more shit.
Yeah, it was a complete waste of my time.
Other people stream now. Streaming, like, no disrespect to streamers. I know it's tough to like get on there and do that every day.
No, it's not.
Why would you not disrespect streamers? It's crazy.
I don't. It takes a certain.
We disrespect everybody.
That's true. I'm not. It's not the easiest thing to go on and stream because you have to do it consistently to be able to be a streamer. But like, you're not doing anything.
It's not coal mining.
I mean, it's not.
I recently watched videos with coal miners in them, and the caves were falling down on them. It was crazy.
Imagine
held up by 2x4s.
Dude, it's wood. It's fucking wood.
Wood against
supporting Earth.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You've never seen coal mining?
Of course I haven't seen coal mining. What are you talking about?
You've never seen anything
I've seen so many mining videos.
Exactly. Like, it is just in passing. You've never seen coal mining in general?
In passing?
In passing.
They're on their knees.
Getting through small holes. That's why I used to use kids. Wait, you're kidding.
Hyper beneficial.
They use kids?
You didn't know they used the children for coal mining?
I don't understand. I thought kids couldn't work.
I mean,
I think they're changing the laws.
I actually think that's true. Actually,
the child labor laws.
Oh, that's
they get kids.
The child labor laws. I think they got cut to like 13. Actually, not kidding.
Well, kids got to keep busy.
Yeah, man.
Especially like with all that TikTok, maybe time in the mines wouldn't be so bad.
They come out and their lungs are black.
Their lungs are
white
caked.
men. White men come out of coal mines looking like fucking Ghanaians.
I think at that point.
Welcome to the Snark Tank Podcast. Welcome to the Snark Tank Podcast. It's me, Chris. It's him, Kingston, and Derek's not here.
Yeah,
Derek's gone. We're doing a special episode.
I'm Derek now.
Yeah, he's Derek now.
Don't say that because your bladder is gonna say you're Derek.
Okay. Well, I mean, I used to pop in a hand now and then. Back on your shows in those early days.
That's right. Yeah, you used to be in a lot of them.
Yeah,
you had a few.
I'd slide in there.
Yeah, we did. I know for a fact you were in. Do you remember when I got that weird snack box from Japan?
Oh yeah, you had those terrible snacks. Were they bad or good? I feel like they were bad.
I feel like I remember them being really not good.
Yeah,
that was in our Glendale apartment. That was when we all lived together.
That was exciting.
That was a good time. Remember when our window got shut out?
I was gone for both times.
He wasn't there.
I
wasn't there both times, which is mega suspicious. I still don't know if I've been lied to, quite frankly. Because it's mega weird that it happened both times when I just happened to be home.
Would you believe those cats were doing what they were doing behind our building? You see what I mean?
Dude, it would sound like
it's right outside my window too.
It sounded like the Grease versus the Sharks out there, but it was just cats fucking.
Dude,
that's what I thought. They were abusing each other.
Nah, they were
with
fucking.
The most strength.
They were fucking. It was brutal cat fucks.
Like there was like a cat breeding ground outside of our building, right in the alleyway right. I swear to God, I could have. If I fell out of my window, I would have
fall
landed
into
on
it.
them.
You guys are making it sound pleasant. It was brutal. Out
No.
No, it was. Cats are very vocal, you know, like they have a lot of range.
That Whitney Houston type shit.
It's impressive,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
At least fucking '09 Adele type shit. It's
My
fucking
God.
it's insane the sounds those poor things make.
Yeah.
It was such an unreasonable time.
Yeah.
Like that apartment was
Well,
hot.
How was our window getting shot out, considering that person would have to go through those cats?
We had
That's what I was wondering.
What confuses me is that we had a third floor, technically fourth floor apartment, because it was the lobby, I think, which was no apartments. I think it was just
Right.
like that weird, awkward like hallway, the garage, and the mail room.
That place, I remember the layout of that place. It was so peculiar.
I went back there a year or two ago to film because I used that building for the outside facade for wherever I live now. Because like I don't need.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
fair.
show my current place. You know what I mean?
course.
But it's a good looking building for like an establishing shot of like a show.
Yeah.
But that first floor is fucking crazy because it is just a narrow hallway and
Oh,
then
yeah.
an elevator, mailboxes, and then nothing.
Well, you forgot the vending machine.
That's right. There was a
Yeah,
vending
yeah.
machine.
For,
remember
for
we
things
got
for, like
those-
soaps and stuff, right?
Well, no, we got the orange. What are
The squirt in the Canada, the cactus coolers.
Cactus coolers.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nothing like a cactus cooler when you're broke. It was nice.
Oh my god. Remember,
Those were times,
Remember
man.
the
Good
no
times.
washing machine we had to wash at Joe and fucking Whiskey's place?
Bro.
Did we do that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We had no
washing
washing machine?
Yeah, no washing
Bro,
machine.
we were.
Wait, did
down
we really
bad.
not have washing machine?
We were in a bad way. There was no washing machine.
How did we do our laundry?
We would go to Joe and
we didn't have many clothes. I don't know.
we didn't have much clothing.
I could have sworn we had like some. We walked to Joe to do our
I
laundry.
mean, it was maybe
so.
a 2-minute walk.
I would have. That
I'm
seems
pretty
too.
sure we didn't have like a laundry. And
You're-
we didn't go to a laundromat.
No, we didn't.
Right.
not.
So
No, I think you guys
Oh
are right.
my god! Speaking of laundromat, remember Andrew, and then that girl
What do you mean?
that peed on your
All right,
bed.
well, we don't.
oh my god.
I wasn't going to talk about that.
I didn't want to go into that memory.
That day was so hilarious. So that was just an insane day.
Was that the day
like,
after she tried to force herself on Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
These are the memories.
This is
that we have.
this
That was
is-
only 12 months too. Isn't that crazy?
I don't even think it was
It
12.
really was.
12 months.
I don't even think it was 12. I'm being honest.
It was a
think
year, I think. It was a
Really?
year. I
Guys,
think
that felt like 3 years.
it might have.
That felt like a lot of struggle. We had so many people in our apartment at different
Dude,
times.
that
too.
house was.
Yeah, we had a homeless guy living with us for a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had Justin in
had
there.
Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, we did have Justin. We had that Justin.
We had our friend Francis living
Yeah,
there for
right,
a while.
Francis.
That
Barb.
house-
Huh?
Barbara.
Oh yeah, Barb lived
Yeah.
there for a while. That was and that was not a big space.
That's
It
why I'm
was-
thinking that had to be years because they like everybody was there for so long.
No.
All the extras.
They were there for like maybe like a couple of months each.
That's crazy.
Maybe
That
maximum.
That house was the beginning of what the absurdity of living out here as an adult would become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah.
think things have toned down a lot for all of us. We're kind of in stable places, relative. Like we're all in a stable place.
Yeah.
But like it was just such an insane series of situations that living in Glendale was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think all of LA in those early times didn't even feel real. Like it was
Yeah.
all like very much so a sitcom. Plus, we had people in and out like a sitcom. Like there was always something happening.
Yeah.
If you
It
walk
didn't-
in, people were always doing something.
It didn't feel like a real place at all. And there was always some weird thing going on. Like,
It felt
you remember
like
that mattress
Seinfeld.
that had like, remember that mattress that was outside our
said
building
bugs?
for like months that just had bugs written on it
Yeah.
in pen?
Yes.
Yeah, not even like marker or like paint or anything. It was like pen. Like someone went over it a bunch of times to make sure it was thick enough.
Do you remember
Insane.
when we put out
We
the mattress
recreated it.
ourselves too?
That's
remember,
right.
Remember in the middle of the night you put out a mattress? It was like at maybe 1 a.m.
Oh,
Do you
because
remember that? We just,
because we didn't know how to legally get rid of it, right?
so we just all
snuck
went
out
down
at-
in the middle of the night and put a mattress out away from our block,
Away
like
from
not
our
even
block.
on our block, a
It was
different
someone
block,
else.
and then we ran back home in the middle of the night.
A drop dead sprint.
We walked it. We
Yeah.
walked it down the street so that it wouldn't be connected to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were absolutely just hooligan children living on our own.
Oh yeah, I got all of my furniture from off the street and from other people. I had 2 couches in my bedroom at one point and a bed. That was,
I do remember that.
And it wasn't a big bedroom at all. It was in fact
that was the
small.
entire area. You had to be on one of those items of furniture
to
in
be
order
in
to be
that
in the
room.
I think I remember. Was that
You had to get in on one of those.
Right? You just get in and get on the thing.
the one thing I remember specifically was that my room was 10 degrees hotter
Yeah,
than
'cause your-
everybody
'cause your-
else's room.
Because the layout of the apartment was like supposed to be the patio, that gray sluggish area, and then it was the kitchen over here, and the AC was on the window.
The AC hit everything.
So it was just passing your room. The way your room was located.
The AC hit everything. It hit the bathroom. It hit
Yeah.
your room.
Yeah.
It hit the living room. It hit the kitchen. Skipped me entirely.
Yeah.
I went to bed with like an oscillating fan under my sheets for like months.
You made a fort that had an oscillating fan.
I just couldn't get cold enough. And that was back when it was actually hot in LA all the time.
All the time, yeah.
It's not like
short
now
winters.
where
The
like
weather's changed so much here too. That's crazy to think about.
The weather's
how much
fucked.
like the weather's toned down because it gets
Yeah.
really hot for like a day or two.
Yeah.
But then it calms down. But when you first got here, like summer was like hell.
It was actually hell.
It
I was
literally,
out
like
there.
terrible. It was like 100. Remember the
That first
116
year,
weekend?
I was a mailman, and it was just brutal.
that's right, you were
Yeah.
a mailman.
I was tortured. I
Because
was
before I moved out here, when you guys first came out
Oh,
here,
yeah.
you were a mailman. Because I
Yeah.
remember you would call me because you'd be fucking near hysteria.
It was honestly like that job was driving me crazy.
I get
and I
it.
was just
You-
like, I just got to do this. I'm exhausted, and I still was broke. And I was there 7 days a week.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah,
crazy.
you worked on
I
weekends
worked-
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's so
We made
crazy.
a deal with Amazon to deliver packages on Sundays.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that way we could work 7 days a week.
That is next level stuff, man.
Oh, man, capitalism's fun.
Yeah, it's a great.
you know,
it's
for somebody.
it really is for somebody.
It's fun for everybody but us.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Man,
us
that
being
is-
98% of the population.
You know, I was looking at that video of when what is it? Tom Sweeney hates the gays. The first one that we
Oh my
did.
god.
And it was like it started with like a tour of the apartment, and I'm glad I have that video still because I would have forgotten a lot of details. But we had like we had a pot of water
Just in the fridge.
in the fridge.
Yo, are
What
you
was that
kidding
there?
me?
Was that
Why
for
would why was
eggs?
that there?
I swear to God, if you watch that video again, it's just there's just a pot of water freestanding open. There's like not a lid or anything, and I think it's because like we didn't have a filter on our sink.
Oh my
So we would
god.
boil clean water.
I think either we did
That
that.
was the only thing that makes
that was
sense.
Are we in fucking Puerto Rico in the mountains? What the fuck is going on?
You know, I swear that water was making us sick though. It was making me sick. I was
Dude, every time I
dehydrated.
drank the water, I felt gross.
Right.
And
That's
it-
why we drank Red Bull. You
and it-
remember when we were just drinking Red Bull? Yeah. My heart can't take it anymore.
Oh my god.
we were addicted to Red Bull for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember you went to San Fran, right?
I went to Sacramento
Went to Sacramento.
for a date because I was
Isn't
dating
that
a
farther up?
yeah, a little further because I went on a date with a Red Bull ambassador.
Oh
And,
wow.
Yeah, we had a date in a castle, and I had swordfish for the first time. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it would be good.
But I came back with a case of Red Bull. Never like saw her again. But I got a case of Red Bull, big case. So brought it back. We all had Red Bull forever. And if you're thirsty, drink a Red Bull. Yeah.
It was bad. We were drinking Red Bull because we were thirsty.
it was cheaper than water because we had it for free.
We had it for free.
So
It
we
was
could either
so
buy a Brita
bad.
filter and then constantly change it, or
Yeah.
get a case of water, which costs some money, or just drink the Red Bull that we had.
Which is
I
free.
didn't have some money to buy it, so I was like, well, I had to filter out the water from the Red Bull. If I wanted straight water, I'd have to simmer it out and it
There you go.
and then put it in a fridge to have water.
Absolutely.
Dude, it's looking at that. I wish the photo of that fridge or what was inside of that fridge in that video
It was
is
a
truly
box
crazy.
of baking soda. It was water.
Let me look it up. Hold on. Let me find it while you.
I
while
really
you talk.
don't want to revisit that fridge.
It is-
It's gonna look like sadness.
No, man. It looks.
When I look back at that, because I've lived quite a few places now. I've lived like there, the second place. There was the one that me and Chris lived at afterwards, and then after that, it was with me and Joe.
Yeah.
Then me, Amin, and Justin. Me, Amin, and Dre.
Yeah.
And now at Lily.
Yeah.
So I've lived quite a few places now.
It's like oh my god, that's real. I remember that pot. I
Oh
hate
my god, the fucking mostly empty container of eggs.
that. Crazy guys.
Two eggs left.
Tom Sweet, it's on this channel. It's like, what is it? A minute and 14 seconds in. But like, man, that oh, there it is. There's the bigger one. Look at that fridge, dude.
Is there one beer?
It's just a pot. What's in the pot?
So there's one pot with a lid on it. No clue what that could be.
I don't want to know. If I was
Arizona. Limes?
Keep scurvy away.
And then one loose beer, dude.
Or actually,
And an empty container of eggs with actually, I think, no eggs in it.
screenshot that, because I don't think anybody in my life actually believes that. Like, we actually were down bad.
We lived
like we were like, they're like, nah, it was always fine.
It's really crazy to think about. Like, that is my worst fear again, being that poor.
Really?
Chris, I don't think you remember how poor I was, Chris. Because I couldn't pay rent for so long. I was so poor, Chris.
I do remember that.
I was so poor. It was insane. I think about that. I'm like, if I get that poor again, I'm going to have to die.
I'm calling it quits. I don't know.
Like, even if Lily makes really good money, but if I was that poor again, I'd be like, Lily, I can't be around you like this. I'm no good to you. I gotta die. I'd write her a letter to be like, hey, girl, I'm too poor to be alive. I'm sorry. Hopefully I see you in the next life and I would kill myself under the bed.
It's got to be on a great Hallmark card, though. Like a really nice
like
Hallmark
a beautiful
card.
card. It's like she thinks I'm just like saying I love you or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's my suicide note I leave for her.
Yeah. You crawl under the porch or something like a dog.
Right. P.S. I
It's like-
stole this card and they know where to find you. So
You gotta.
crazy.
I put this on your credit card because I'm so poor I can't afford it.
You stole it with her credit card.
It's her credit card, which I stole from you first.
I put it back in your bag though. I put it back in your bag.
Back in your bag
I
with the
dropped
receipt.
it off. Sorry, my bad.
It's just an Ouroboros of thievery. The whole thing.
It's just why poor people stay poor. And it's like,
Yeah.
hey man, bye. I love you.
I love you. Sorry. But the most upsetting part of that to me was like I was still working all the time.
That's
And
Yeah.
and there was like
dude.
no.
I was hitting like
Just had
38
trade
hours a
jobs.
week, and I was just with the minute because I think of how many bills I have now, and like I don't know what if I had the amount of bills I have now, making what I was making then, I'd be like, oh, I have to become
I just
a drug
wasn't
lord.
paying my bills. It was like I can't pay this. It was either survive or pay bills. So it's like I think I'm gonna survive.
Well,
And
Yeah.
then-
I'll pay the bill when they turn my shit off.
Right, exactly.
You know?
When it gets real bad, they'll turn it off, and then I have to.
I
pay.
won't
I've
have a
got-
bill.
Right, I won't
anything.
have a bill.
I did that just to see what it was like.
Student loans, come on.
I'm so blessed I have no student loans. I really think about how lucky I am.
Yeah,
for having that.
That's
I
a
have
lot.
literally
I'm done with
zero
it.
student
I don't
loans.
have any.
You
That's
paid off all
amazing.
yours?
Yeah, I paid off all mine
Did you have
while
that
ago.
much though? You didn't have
No,
that
I didn't
much,
have like
right?
a crazy.
'Cause you
I-
went for 2 years, right?
Yeah, I only went for 2 years. It was enough to be like that sucks.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't. It was definitely doable. You know.
Right? It was less than 10, right? I'm guessing.
I think so. Yeah. I don't even remember how much it was because it's gone now. You know.
amazing.
I had literally none. I had no student loans at all. My grandma paid for me getting my first one.
Nice.
And then by the time I started the second one, I got FAFSA for the help. But as soon as we started making like not even good money, like just money at all, they were like, we can't have that anymore.
Were you going to school when you first got out here, or were you just at Starbucks?
I was at Starbucks when I first got out here, and then when we moved to Olive, like halfway through, I started going to school again. Because I was
don't
trying to go to
remember.
school forever. Because I remember I didn't have my papers to go to school. Because you
Yeah.
were going to start school again too
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah.
And I didn't have some sort of certification. But I was like, I've been living here for like 7 months. They're like, I'm sorry, we can't prove you live here.
Oh shoot.
So I had to wait until I had at least a year of me living here to go to school again. So I went to school then, and I finished when like a little bit into living in the place with Joe. I finished my second degree.
Really?
Good move.
Oh, okay, okay.
finished
I remember
my
that
second
place.
degree. I have an associate's degree in biology, and I have a associate's degree in like I don't know, liberal arts.
Yeah.
Good
So if
one.
anybody
Worst
out there is
one.
trying to get a degree, just get it. It's clearly very easy.
It's really not that hard. It's just a lot of time. That's it. It's just unnecessary time.
It's a time sink.
Is this a
Everything is.
receipt? Is this a receipt that lets me know that you're willing to suffer and go poor
Yeah.
to not really gain knowledge, to look at a book for a while?
Dude, I just remember that time being so strange because I remember that was That was the apartment I had alcohol poisoning in.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
you were so bad.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That was wild.
And that was when you
I came like an angel descending upon you.
you gave me a
With
bowl of water.
Bowl of water. Yeah. Because it was the biggest container we had. Was a bowl.
That wasn't a pan. That wasn't a pot.
wasn't a pot. The pot was being used, clearly.
Yeah, it was busy. That had fresh water. We can't give you fresh water.
No,
we
no.
gave you sink water.
Some nice sink water mixed with Red Bull.
That's such
Dude,
a
you
you
were
were
on
like,
your feet.
I went in there and I was like, "You all right?" You were like, and I was like, "He's
Right.
all right." And I closed the door. I was like, "He's all right, man. Don't worry." I didn't think you were that, because you were drinking with us the whole time, and you didn't tell me you were drinking that much. But then at a certain point, you started just looking like unwell, and I was like, "He's all right, bro. We're all
Certain point, he
drinking.
turned blue.
We're all drinking. It's not a big deal." Was this before or after I was dating Lily? I think it was before I was dating Lily.
This is
right?
probably a little bit before.
Yeah.
And I was like, "He's all right, dude."
I don't
worry."
know, man. I never had an alcohol problem, but I don't. Back then, especially, like I didn't want to. Like if I was going, I was like, well, I might as well continue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was drinking at all,
Right.
I think I viewed it like I'm already poisoning myself. So if I poison myself for no gain, what the fuck is the point?
Right,
So I'm gonna
right.
keep doing it until I'm drunk, because that's the point.
That's the point, right?
I was well pat.
And then you
Remember
start
in
walking
Fishkill,
around.
how I would drink when I lived in Fishkill? How I would just down beers like a fucking animal
Oh,
every time
yeah,
I went to
yeah,
parties. I would down beers and fail at talking to girls. That was my fucking MO. It's back home.
Ooh, the classic.
Is that why you ran away?
Oh my fucking god! That's why I left Fishkill. Oh no, I left Fishkill like because I was a jackass. I wanted independence, and then I came here and was just destitute for a while.
with no plan at all.
Destitute for a while.
Listen, you got to do anything to get out of Fishkill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I didn't really have much of a plan either.
I mean, it just it's life.
Because
man.
you came to me what, like 2 weeks before you left?
Yeah, 3 weeks, and it was amazing because I called him. I'll never forget. And on the phone, I said, "Hey, I'm moving across the country in like 3 weeks. I need somebody to drive with me. Are you down?" And he was like, okay. He took 2-3 seconds and was like, "Yeah, this sounds good. 3
Yeah.
weeks. Pack up everything we had, get into a way too old car, and drive across the country."
What was that car that you drove?
It was a 2005 Honda Accord.
Dude, can I tell you something? In my memory, that is a 1989 Ford Taurus or something. Like,
that car was so
It was
old, Jalen.
bad. It literally, the way
wasn't it like
broke down-
tilted kind of to the side?
I wouldn't
a
be
little bit?
surprised because the way it finally started to go was like I'm at a light and light turns green. I press the gas and the front axle snaps. Like what lets you turn the wheel just snaps. Right, so if that happened on the highway or something, went careening
That's the
into a
car
car
that we pushed back home, right?
Yeah, we pushed it into like somewhere. I don't know where we pushed it, and then
Like a Jiffy Lube or something like that?
yeah, and then I used like my last $500 to buy a moped, and so I had a moped. For 6
That's
months.
right.
Yeah,
I
my
totally
God.
forgot
and
that
this
you
is
had that
while
thing.
this is living at Hilda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this must have been at Hilda.
Yeah.
That is so hilarious.
Dude,
I
I
forgot that you had a moped.
I had a moped for
You still have that
6.
scar
The scar
from the moped?
No, maybe. I don't know what my scars are from at this point anymore. Just like the things that happen.
Dude, I remember that day like it was yesterday when you crashed it.
Yeah.
That
and
was
then I got up
crazy.
and called an Uber. I left the thing there and was like, I'm going home.
I remember that.
Watching
'cause
Dave
'cause
Chappelle.
You called me and Lily and we were like doing whatever the fuck we were doing.
Yeah.
Some stupid shit. And then we
That's
were like,
right, I called you.
You came back in and we were like, what happened to him? And I was like, oh, we
You-
crashed.
You walked into that apartment, and I was like scared. So I was like, "What?" It looked like the mob had found you or something.
Yo,
like you
rough.
looked like you were put
were
through the
damaged.
ringer,
Was
dude.
Were you by yourself?
Oh my God. And
remember.
I asked you for a joint. I was just like,
That's right.
You were like, hey, you
joint.
got any weed to smoke?
You were like, I just need to relax.
Did I have any?
You had
And
those
you
ones
had-
you
you
got
had,
from those
like-
parties, remember? You got
Yeah.
them from random parties that were like in a fucking tube.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot more weed back then.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
was
and then
crazy.
I had that, watching Dave Chappelle, good laugh. And then I had to
do
call it
re-
a night.
I totally forgot about this.
Yeah,
my
but
God,
there's
that
a
was-
lot of stuff, memories that happen in Hilda or around Hilda.
It feels like so much more things happened there. Like, I feel like,
More things happened there than we remember for sure.
I think Olive felt weird because it felt like it was
We were a little bit more together in Olive, I feel like.
slightly more.
So like we had
Yeah.
a lot of. I think Hilda was a ton of fun because we'd meet up in the
corners.
intersection of our like rooms and lay down on the ground on the hot carpet and just talk about craziness.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, that's in that video, basically.
That's the start of that situation of us doing that.
That video.
What started what video?
I don't. There's like some video that I posted a long time ago of us just kind of talking in that.
That's
like in that space.
Okay.
Because I think I just had the camera on and I was like, I don't know, I needed to film. I needed bullshit to throw in the middle of like videos that I was making because that was the only way that I knew how to transition between things. It was just throw people non sequiturs that had nothing to do with anything.
Perfect.
And
that was insane.
Yeah, so it's I think you had like that was the bag sword or something.
We invented characters. There was somebody with a bag sword. There was a guy backflipping out of tanks.
Oh my god! Yeah, he would get really close to people with tanks, where he's and blow them up.
Yeah.
There was a little kid on the fire escape, the classic one.
Classic guy, kid on the fire escape.
The kid on the fire escape that falls off is on video. I have that.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
That idea is one of the most insane ideas ever because there's just a little kid trying to help and then dying from it.
Yeah, we had. I feel
What a
like
turn of events.
I feel like when we moved into the second apartment, that wasn't under duress because we moved in that first place kind of under duress.
Yeah,
like not necessarily under duress, but like we only found it because I was outside screaming. You remember that?
Yes, I do remember.
Like
that.
I was outside. Like
and
we
the
were.
landlord came up to you and said, "Hey, I have a plate. I couldn't help it over here."
Yeah, I couldn't help it over here. The landlord Everett.
Yeah.
He had like I was outside like on the phone with my parents, or like I was on the phone with my mom. I was like, these people out here don't know how to do anything. Like, what the fuck why is everybody out here so stupid? Because I think we had seen a place.
We've seen like 3 places.
We'd seen so many places. You remember that place that
We walked in, there was nobody there.
we walked in? They were like, you've got priority, right? They said like you've got priority on this place, and I was like, great, let's sign the fucking. It was like a townhouse.
Yeah.
it was like
Oh,
it
was nice.
It was so awesome. I would have loved to have lived there, but like
We probably would have kept it and had like still great pricing. It was at a good
yeah,
spot.
dude, like
Yeah.
it was a good place,
I
and
imagine
then
how much it costs now. Holy crap!
probably a lot
Through
actually.
the roof. Well, what are they charging for Hilda now? That garbage.
They're
apartment.
charging what I'm paying kind of right now.
You're lying.
And no, I'm not kidding. For that fucking terrible apartment that got no air.
Doesn't cool down. Paper mache walls.
Paper mache. That's right. Do you remember the noise complaints that we would get?
We get noise complaints constantly.
You just didn't give a fuck. It was.
Yeah, I remember that. We would just get them again.
I remember there was an old Asian man that came up once.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you quiet down?" And I was like, "I don't." That was on a day we weren't even being loud, so like I didn't even understand like what was happening.
I was like, buddy, it gets so much worse.
Right.
It gets so much worse.
Just wait.
It gets so much worse. We're not even playing video games. Remember the Skyrim days?
Oh,
we would have a Skyrim
party.
We'd have a Skyrim LAN party.
That is so stupid.
Skyrim, everybody.
Bring some you were doing it too. You were playing too.
Bring some
TVs over to our trash home.
Dude, I remember I brought Lily over for a Skyrim party. She was like, "What the fuck is this?" He was like, "Are you guys playing together?" I was like,
Nah.
In theory,
We're around each other.
we're all playing.
The idea that we all got together and played Skyrim separately
Yeah.
is crazy.
Listen, no regrets. I'll do it again.
I have no problem. We can do it today, dude. Bring some TVs over to the pad. We can do it right now.
you got a spare TV?
You got spare monitors?
I
Or we
do
just
have-
had spare monitors lying around.
I do have spare TVs.
Trying to explain to my girlfriend now that we need spare TVs. Like it just doesn't make sense to her, but to me, I'm like, just in case,
Someone comes over,
someone comes over,
someone
brings
comes over
Skyrim.
and brings their console with them.
Right.
Why not? Let's play some fucking Skyrim.
Dude, I have a spare PlayStation now.
There you go.
I've got my old PS5 just sitting there.
I've got spare PlayStation, maybe a spare Xbox. I got
Maybe
an NES.
somewhere.
I need a TV.
I have an Xbox Series S at my parents' house.
I have like multiple Nintendo Switches in my house. That's
Yeah.
about it. Because Lily has one, I have one, and then I have the one that I was supposed to give to Lily, but she ended up getting her own before that.
Oh my god! You know, I just remembered
What's
about that apartment that you slept on that futon that was broken for months,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and you refused to fix it.
Yeah.
You were just
worked.
sleeping on the ground with
It
like.
works.
It works. That thing did not work.
It got
that
the
was
job
so
done.
non-functional. It was
It
infuriating.
worked in terms of being off the ground.
It worked in terms of being something that wasn't the floor.
Right.
It wasn't the floor. And
But you might as well just had a mat on the floor though. At a certain point, like I don't even know why we even went with the facade that we even had something akin to a futon. We were just pretending to have a futon at a certain point.
Yeah,
We were just like, we got it together. Look, we got like a living room area.
Yeah.
That like didn't function because so much of it was taken up by that crazy desk.
Oh my god.
remember breaking
The
that
heaviest
desk apart? Remember how liberating it was destroying that desk?
I don't
in the
even
evening?
remember this at all.
You don't remember breaking that desk? So we had You brought it in, right?
No, it was
Kevin.
whiskey. Me and Jalen that brought it in.
But it was Kevin's
and
desk.
Joe.
Yeah.
It was off. That thing was so
It was
heavy.
the
It was
heaviest thing I've ever
crazy.
touched.
In retrospect, that was probably the most expensive piece of furniture that we had ever even remotely come into contact with because it
Right.
was such a heavy, like mahogany desk almost.
Yeah.
That
That's
was like
like
All made
clearly,
of one piece of wood, like
yeah, like carved.
That's like something
Right.
that's in your like office in your fucking home.
Not even our home. Like it's like our grandfather's home.
Yeah, like that's where like your grandfather typewrites.
And then we just took like I don't even know how we busted it open. I know we busted one of the drawers open because one of the drawers was locked.
Oh, it's locked.
Because one of our friends left it with us and then just never had any indication that he was going to take it back.
he just
No.
got his,
There was
got
no
deported.
hint.
He got deported essentially.
Well,
He was-
Yeah.
regardless.
so he did.
Regardless of who took who away.
Let's not get into specifics.
It wasn't like he was just like whatever. He had to leave. He had to leave.
Right, whatever. The point is that desk was sitting in our apartment for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And it was like barely. I think we tried to use it kind of.
Actually, no.
You would type
Somebody
on it.
slept behind it. It was like a
Oh, that's
it was like a
right.
separating
yes.
room for
that was
the
where the whole
other guy.
Yeah, we had a homeless
Homeless
person
friend.
living behind like in
He
the
lived
corner
behind the desk,
behind
in the
the
corner.
desk. I love that somebody else is here to corroborate that this is real because it sounds so fucking fake.
It's
But-
it's
Tyler,
three
that sounds like
sources. That's insane.
What'd
My
you
entire
say?
life sounds fake.
My timeline sounds like that.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
just-
we lived in an apartment with like a homeless guy living behind a desk in our living room.
Yeah.
He lived behind the desk. In fairness, I rarely saw him because he was behind the desk all the time. But that was real. That was
such
like a
a
real thing that happened to us.
That was such an insane period of time. He was
Yeah.
like, because one of my coworkers, right, and he just got put out, and I was like, man, I'm not doing good, but at least I'm not homeless.
Homeless, right?
Hey
It
guys,
is
can we-
crazy though, in retrospect, that you, as somebody who wasn't paying rent, offered a space in our
I didn't
apartment.
offer. I asked. I asked before I did that. I made sure I was like, hey, I live with people.
Yeah.
I can't just bring someone here exactly. Let me ask.
I guess I didn't mind because it wasn't like I had things. I didn't feel like I had things that were important. Like I stopped everything in my car and drove across the country, and we slept in a Walmart parking lot with the doors open, with all of our everything to our name. Doors
That is
open.
true.
You guys didn't
Like,
get
we didn't-
robbed.
we
It's
didn't care.
crazy because our other friends that moved the same time got robbed twice.
We looked like we were homeless, so like
We
didn't-
looked dangerous, kind of, because
Right.
like our car was beat up.
Right.
We were sweating. We were dirty. we bathed in the
We
bathroom.
bathed in the bathroom.
You guys
of the
would take
Walmart.
fucking bird baths and walk.
Literally, like, we just
Yeah.
like we took the sink and splashed ourselves.
Right, literally.
We
Splashed ourselves clean.
Let's get clean for a minute.
that was in
Sleep
Illinois
for 2 hours.
Was that in Illinois that we did that? I think it was Illinois.
Maybe, but we also camped.
I don't want to talk about that.
All right,
Man.
we'll forget about that one.
That camping,
to the-
that camping shit really
You
pissed
guys
me
tried
off.
to camp?
No, we didn't try.
It was.
We
I
barely.
pitched a tent in the dark. We got inside like Abraham Lincoln Forest and in Illinois, and
We pitched a tent
I
in
just
the
knocked
dark.
out from exhaustion. He stayed awake for 6 hours.
We lived, so we
Like, you
did.
see what I mean? Life has been sounding fake for a while.
You know what?
What are you guys doing? Just you guys
Because we
can't
couldn't
just-
stay in a hotel. I had $200 to my name. I think
Chris, I get it.
that was all I had.
Just pull into a parking lot. You guys can't just camp.
Parking lot where we'd be seen. Brilliant.
people. But I think you. So you
can't have
guys
anyone
go and just
seeing
sleep in
me.
the darkness. You know how uncomfortable tents are that aren't prepared to
In
be
the woods.
comfortable.
Dude,
It was straight up on the ground.
It was on the ground in the woods. We had no sleeping bags, so we literally laid on the ground with a thin layer of tent over it. He passed out immediately. I was awake the whole time because all I was thinking of, we're gonna get all of our stuff stolen, and something's gonna kill and eat us, or I'm gonna be raped and killed, or something, some fucking horrible thing. And then in the middle of the night, while he's passed out, I hear fucking sniffing. I hear animals.
You heard sniffing.
I heard
Definitely
animals.
a bear out
What are
there.
you? Oh my god!
I heard, and I look over at Jalen. Jalen's passed out like a baby.
Yes. I was too
Sleeping
exhausted to
sound.
care about dying.
You were sleeping sound.
He was so
comfortable.
fucking. He was like a cherub. It was fucking ridiculous. I've never seen somebody sleep so soundly while I was in sheer panic.
We have never been here in the state or in this forest.
I've never been to Illinois. I've never been camping like that, especially with nothing.
Nothing. And it was dark when I put it together. So.
It wasn't put together right. There's animals sniffing outside. I'm just like, I can't be at peace.
Did it feel like a big animal or did it feel like a small animal sniffing?
Irrelevant.
That wasn't relevant.
It was a beast that was curious,
right?
Which was more suspicion than I wanted to arouse ever.
Can't do that, dude.
I think it was bigger though. My hunch was that because it sounded hefty. And so I was like,
it probably was.
At best, it's a deer. At worst, it's a bear.
Dude, we had a series of unfortunate events that entire trip. It was,
that whole drive was truly
we did
insane.
It fast as hell. 2.5 days.
2.5
That
days.
is literally insane.
2.5 days we made it from New York to LA, which
that
is
almost
fucking
max speed.
Yes, max speed,
and
very limited breaks.
And we did stop a couple times because we did stop at that like a hotel.
We stopped at the hotel once because you got sick.
Did I get sick?
You got sick.
Because of the fucking
what we
panda
were
pies?
eating? Remember what we were eating the entire time?
Oh my god! Do you remember that
Red Bull and Little Bites?
Do you remember that cold Subway sandwich?
I was gonna get to that sandwich. That sandwich sucked so bad.
We stopped at a Subway in the middle of our drive because it was like the only thing, that was possible to stop at. And we stopped off, and I was like, "Yeah, let me get a steak and cheese." Because it's just I needed something hot and I needed meat and just something, right? And they were like, "Hey, so the toaster's not working." And I was like, "So it's a cold steak and cheese sandwich?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Fine."
We only had some Gatorade energy gummies. We had a box of nuts and a box of Little Bites and a few Red Bulls. That was our preparation for meals.
I hate how
we were gonna make a bunch of sandwiches and then we just didn't.
We didn't do it. I don't know what happened. Maybe we didn't have time.
We could have just made the time. We just didn't do it. We were just like, I think we were just eager to get out. And by the time we had the plan to make sandwiches, it was already like, it's tomorrow. Let's just go. We'll figure it out. But yeah, those Gatorade energy gummies, which I'm still astounded are even real.
I think they stopped selling them.
I think
I'd assume so. I'd assume those. I haven't seen them in a long, maybe ever.
I've only ever seen them that one time I bought them.
I feel like you guys are talking about them. I don't think they're real. I feel like you guys are imagining them.
Yeah.
Maybe, man. There's a lot of shit that it feels like we imagined. Like that wall of rain.
The wall of rain we drove into.
That attacked us. That trucker that almost killed us.
Right. The fog.
That was the densest fog I've still seen.
Seeing dense fog is creepy.
That was actually insane.
Because it was always dense. Okay, do you remember our friend Vanessa?
Yes.
Yes.
There was always fog by. Remember there was always fog by her house?
No.
You don't remember? You don't remember there being fog by her house?
I would have never went back. I would have marked her as a witch and said, we're done.
I went there. There was one time I stayed over at her house for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I was with Elliot. Mm-hmm. But I stayed over there, and I remember looking outside her house. I was like, I'm in this place where I've known this person 4 times. Mm-hmm. I'm just at this. I'm downstairs. They're upstairs doing whatever the fuck they're doing, and I'm just in this place. I don't know why I'm here. I should have just went home.
There was a few times like that with Elliot, where I was like, "Why am I here right now?" It brings me to somebody's house.
I was in. I told a story here. I was in fucking what's the place called Woodstock with Elliot, and it was
Why have I gotten taken to Woodstock with Elliot as well?
You've been there with him too?
Yes.
Dude,
it was always hanging with some random girl that I was like, I don't know these.
I was there with him, and it was me and Troy, I think Troy Barker or Tony Barker, that comedian guy, the actually famous comedian. Me and him were the only black people there, and we were smoking a blunt together.
Oh, nice.
And you were like, what the fuck are we doing? He was like, man, I was here for a show. I was like, I was just following my fucking friend. I don't know what this place seems insane.
Yeah,
Woodstock?
Yes.
I've been there twice.
That place is
I've
so
never been
fucking
to
nothing.
Woodstock.
Yeah.
It looks like the, how do I describe it best? You know the plaza like fucking shopping areas?
Yeah.
Sure.
It looks like a town of that.
That sounds like that copy
Like a
place.
strip mall.
Yeah.
It looks like a town of, like there's a strip mall, like a big strip mall became a town somehow. They congregated around it.
Do you remember this like I do in Kansas?
Yeah.
We were driving through Kansas, and I feel like we passed the same town over and over again.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes. And our comment on that was like, it's taking forever to get through Kansas, and it really did. And we hit a lot of stuff in Kansas.
It feels like the majority of our trip was Kansas somehow.
Right. That's where we stopped because my car was like in rough condition, right? So I was like worried about if we use the AC for too long. I was like, we might need motor oil. Pulled over to the gas station. That's why I saw a cowboy and a cashier. They really didn't like me. So I had to leave with zero help. After walking in, walked out.
Where was I?
When the rain. You were in the car. I walked in. I asked him for like, hey, where's your motor oil? Him and this cowboy, the cashier and the cowboy, just looked at me like, this is not where you're supposed to be. And they said nothing to me. And I was like, all right. So I went to the back, looked for the motor oil. I think I found it, but I was like, I'm not going to go to the cash register and say anything to these people because I'm getting real bad vibes.
Right.
So I left. We turned around. We just left. And I was like, all right, we're just going to, hopefully the car works.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is the best outcome, probably.
Yeah,
It probably is.
I felt like that was the dud.
I've never been to Kansas before. I want to go across country.
There's nothing to see.
I want to go across country.
Is that where we did the illegal U-turn in front of all those police officers?
We did the legal U-turn because I was driving without knowing where I was going.
Oh my God. So we
for
got
a while.
we got into Kansas City and I fell asleep. And I'm holding the phone, I guess, with the GPS. And instead of waking me up,
I felt so bad because he hadn't been sleeping.
He drives in circles in Kansas City for like hours.
I didn't know I was in circles.
And then I finally woke up and I was like, where are we? He was like, oh, Kansas City. And I was like, we're still in Kansas City? The sun's almost down. He was like, yeah, you look like you were like real at peace.
First time I've seen you at peace in hours.
I guess it was Kansas City, so it wasn't that long after Illinois, but like, fucking man.
It's rough, man.
That was crazy. I think that was like when I passed out after the camping because I didn't sleep. So I was like, you're driving.
Yeah.
Because I didn't sleep at all. I was like being sniffed on by bears and shit.
Oh, man.
That was a drive.
Yeah. That was bad.
And I remember I was so sick when we finally got to LA. There's a picture somewhere of us getting to LA the day we got there.
Yeah.
And I looked so ill.
That was such a I remember you guys being like, yeah, we made it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, we weren't even happy. We were just
I took a cold shower. It was the only time in my life that I took a cold shower ever. Because I think I had a fever and it was 106 degrees.
Oh my God.
Right.
I never used the AC.
Sense.
Do you remember we were all in that house for a period of time when we first moved out here?
Oh, were we rooming with Joe? And we were like
seven of us.
And Elliot was there
in a
too.
2-bedroom.
7 of us in a 2-bedroom, and we would turn the AC on. And I remember at the time being like, I will pay for the AC. I will literally foot your bill for the AC.
For the
like,
AC.
Please let me.
Because they would never turn the AC on.
Just let me use it. And I would turn it on. And then Joe would wake up like a zombie in the middle of the night. I'm not even convinced he was conscious when he did this.
I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
Like,
see that good?
He
said,
turn it off.
the bill. Turned it off.
He wakes up, he woke up, saunter over like in my memory, he didn't even walk to it. It was like, you know, when people walk, there's like kind of like an up and down motion to them. It's like it was like he glided like a fucking
like
wraith
specter of some sort
over to the AC and shut it off. And I remember always hearing that click, being like, no,
Tear.
tear falls down my fucking face.
Such a fucking
That carpet was riddled with grief. Just
I don't understand how you
never, dude. Remember when they cleaned it and it was still terrible?
Wait, they cleaned that carpet?
Yes, they cleaned it.
No way.
They didn't clean that carpet.
No. When like someone came and cleaned it. I forgot we were like filming a movie for their graduations like that. And at that period of time, they had like people come in and cleaned it.
Right. He said we paid to have it cleaned, and I remember calling him a liar. Like,
and I was like,
look
this
at
is a clean car. It looks sick.
They got robbed.
What's crazy about that apartment?
I don't think it was the cleaner's fault. I think they could do all they could.
What's crazy about the apartment that Joe, because you lived there with Whiskey and Joe for a while. When we first got to LA, I stayed in LA for like 3 months and I couldn't find a job, and then so I moved back home. And then when I came back, that was when we lived in the same place with 7 other people for like a brief period of time.
Right.
But I remember my first trip there, the first 3 months, it was like, oh, this is a nice little place. You had that cutout of fucking the Dos Equis guy in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's in the background of some stuff that I was looking at the other day. And I was like, oh, it was a nice little place. And then I went home and like worked for like months And I was like, hey, I can finally come back out, guys. And then I remember the day I got to that apartment, I was convinced that I got off the plane or fucking whatever, and I took my Lyft or my Uber to this apartment to meet up with you guys because we were going to be crashing there for like as long as it took to find a new place, which thankfully only took 3 weeks. But I walked up to the apartment and I felt something was wrong as I was approaching. And I remember feeling that because I was like, I've never felt that way before. Weird. And then I get to the door. And then I get to the door is open. Wide open. And I walk in, the sofa's in the middle of the living room.
I remember.
Everything is gone. There's stains all over the ground. It looked like someone had run in there, robbed you, and killed everybody involved.
It looked like a crack house.
It really did. It looked like a crack. Like I was like, what happened while I was gone? And like I walked in, I was like, hello? Is anyone here? And I was like expecting like, I don't know. I half expected like a guy in a mask to come out and shoot me dead. But I was like, whatever. I got here. And no one answered for like 20 minutes. And so I'm sitting there, I'm looking around. I'm like, is anybody here? I was like, Jalen? Yeah. Like, Whisk? And then 20 minutes later, Kevin, our friend Kevin, he goes, oh, hey, Chris.
Who didn't even actually live there.
Yeah. He goes, hey, Chris. I was like, you're here? What? First of all, what the fuck happened? It really, I'm annoyed that I didn't take a picture of it because no amount of like just description will do it justice. It really looked like shit was ripped off. It really looked like a crack house.
It was bad. The place was too
I don't
many
know
people.
how.
It was horrible.
No, that was before. I think that was before people even got there.
Oh my god.
That's what's crazy. We cleaned it up so people could just stay.
Dude, yeah, it was before me and Elliot got out. Me and Elliot came out the day later.
Yeah. So that was crazy.
There was no worry about getting robbed there because it looked like somebody already ran through.
Right. It's like in Last of Us where it's just like, oh, there's nothing here.
Right.
Maybe there'll be like tape or a nail or
Literally,
something.
yeah, you don't
Tape
even
or
check.
nail and pills of some sort I can take to slow down the pain.
Damn.
Dude, I remember we got the apartment and Elliot was like, I'm staying with you guys for the rest of my vacation here. I am not staying there. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, in fairness, we did have a new apartment.
We had no apartment, but
in comparison.
we had the one mattress that we all laid on. Jalen had the only bed.
Yeah.
Jalen was in his room. So me, you, and Elliot just took portions of the mattress. We were all half on it or half off.
At Hilda.
That was
one time.
That was
when
2015. So that was.
No, it was 16.
Was it?
Yes,
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
remember
I can't.
16,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. It was 2016. Yeah, and I remember we couldn't have any miscommunication about how gay it was.
Yeah, no.
So we took portions. I think I laid on the corner with just my stomach and my arms and legs hanging off. I'm pretty sure.
I was on the edge closest to the door, and it was just the top part of my body.
Oh my god.
The top.
It looked fucking crazy.
That is
Dang.
such a dude. Because
And what? I just had a mattress on the floor, right? From the last place.
You had your mattress, and then like
I definitely didn't have a frame because I was on a bunk bed with Joe.
Yeah, you had a stand.
That's right. Yeah,
maybe.
you just had the mattress on the ground.
You
I
had a
remember
mattress-
walking in and you were just laying in the middle of your floor in your room. There was just nothing in the room.
I didn't
And
have
you
a
were
bed
just
yet.
on the floor, laying down.
I didn't have a bed.
Spread out to stay cool.
That's right.
That is such an insane because it's technically it's a little while ago now. It's almost, I've been on here for almost 10 years. Next year will be 10 years for me.
Yeah.
It is 10 years, I think, about.
Yeah.
For me, next year will be 10 years.
It's about to be 10 years for me. If you count that 3-month period that I was out here for like a little bit, which I do, kind of.
Yeah, that was the first period of time. You came back 6 months later?
Yeah, it was like 6 months.
What
I
else?
came back a little bit after my birthday because I was like, I don't want to.
What else happened at Hilda? There was more crazy stuff that was
Remember
happening at Hilda.
one of our friends got really drunk and tried to drive home, and I had to wake up out of my sleep and convince them not to.
Yep. That was a real
And I
thing.
was just like, hey.
out of his
don't.
sleep. Hey, you're about to die.
I woke up and I was like, are you drunk? Because
yo.
current me right now, I wouldn't do anything. I'd be like, I would say something, and if they didn't listen, I'd be like, look, I can't keep you here.
Right.
If you don't want to be here. I can't keep you in class. You know, like I'm a teacher. I can't make you stay in class. You want to stay in class. But like I was like, hey, don't go. I was like, hey, don't go.
Right.
You're really just like, no, I gotta get home. And I was like,
Right.
bud,
Right.
you're very drunk. You're not standing up straight.
Yo.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
please go to sleep.
That was the best thing you could do.
I saved a life.
Yeah.
That makes up for all the bad I've ever done. I saved a life.
Do you remember? I'm trying to figure out how to tell this story without using names.
Which one?
Because I don't necessarily want names, but
when we made up the fib about someone dying.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, yeah, that was the thing.
Dude,
So
your sister called me.
Are you
Your
serious?
sister called
So,
me,
wait,
and
hold
then
on,
your
let's give-
mom called me, and I was like,
Let's give
That's
some
hilarious.
context. Not names, but a friend of ours. I think you were hanging out with a friend of ours and some girl
Yeah.
that were vaguely together, sort of, or something.
no. It was just him and a girl hanging out. They were
Right.
just
Oh,
hanging
that's
out.
right. And then a friend of ours showed up,
Right.
and they wanted to restart something.
Right.
No. It was so. This is how it happened. This is what makes it even. It's entirely fucked up. This is what makes it's all just
Okay,
not
all right.
good.
You tell. I barely remember it.
So
I
what
just remember
happened-
what we the joke.
So what happened was
This is wild.
Jalen was hanging out with one of our friends, right? They were
Sure.
drinking, just being fucking 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Drinking, hanging out, right? All of a sudden, our friend is like, hey, Jalen, you have to go home.
Right.
Jalen's clearly drunk.
And I'm like, wait. I didn't prepare to like leave him.
And
Yeah,
they were
I'm
like, we
just
got to go home.
drinking.
Like, hey, you got to get out of here. XYZ, like something's happening. And he was like, okay, I guess. So Jalen just waited in the car, and all he sees is our other friend pulling up there, who is that girl's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she told Jalen to leave for a booty call.
Yeah. While
and
he was drunk.
expected him to
and-
just get home fine
Right.
drunk.
Yeah,
So I was
while
like,
he was drunk.
I guess I'm gonna chill in my car. Right.
And then Jalen comes home like an hour or two later. He's like, yeah, they just kicked me out. It's so fucked up. And Chris is like, you know, it'd be funny.
Okay, hold on, wait.
You know, it'd be a good, funny joke.
This is not how I remember it at all.
That is exactly how it happened.
So here's the thing.
You know what we should do,
I-
right?
So I was literally just joking. Okay, that was our sense of humor at the time. Obviously, it still kind of is.
It was more grim. His was more grim before.
So,
Then we had another friend that was really down for
yeah, it
your
was
other friend.
it was our other friend who really
He was like, do this.
Do this, yeah.
So I pitched as a joke. It's like, that's really fucked up. That's not an okay thing to do to somebody. I feel pretty strongly about that, actually.
No, that's
It
terrible.
really bothered me that happened.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what you should do is that you should not respond to any messages or phone calls. And if they message us, we'll just say we haven't heard from you or haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be wild? But that's all I meant. I was just like,
And-
wouldn't that be wild?
and then-
LOL, wouldn't that be funny? And then our other friend was like, yes.
Our fantastic
Everybody
Mormon
do
friend
this.
was like,
Yeah, our
do
Mormon
that.
friend.
Our Mormon friend was
Everybody, this is what we're doing. Nobody's out.
Yeah.
dude.
And then I remember just being like, yeah, whatever. Like, because in my mind at the same time, I was like,
You didn't think it was
that's a
gonna take
fucked-
legs.
Well,
That's
I
why.
didn't. I didn't think it would last as long as it did. B, I didn't. I also just didn't care really at the time because I really thought like it was just so fucked up to kick somebody out like that when they're drunk and expect them to drive home. I think it's like a really fucked up thing. So like I think part of me was just like whatever.
Do it.
But then it got like crazy because
It
then
got
like
bad. It got
like so many
bad.
people thought you were dead.
Yeah.
Your sister called me.
Yeah. It was spreading
my
way
God.
too far.
Then
Like that's like the
Gianni called me. Gianni texted me because
No
of what you
way.
call it. Because Gianni
Yeah,
because Jelani's
Yeah.
what you call it. The Gianni was like, hey, have you seen Gianni out with them? And I was like, man, do I lie? Like, do I lie?
no, that's crazy. When it becomes family, like that's like
No, that's when things got bad. Because I remember I contacted Jay. I was like, Jalen, your mom just messaged me.
Yeah, because our other friends, because I think my phone was just straight up off. I think that was the deal.
I think we told you to shut it off.
Shut your phone off.
I think we told you
and
to
so
shut your phone off.
nobody could get in contact
And
with
I was
me.
like, do I lie? And I was like, hey, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And your sister was like, how is this not taking a moment outside of myself and flipping it to the other side of the screen?
That is a crazy thing to say.
it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal,
It's
whatever.
like
Yeah, you
so
haven't heard
outrageous.
from him. Like
I was
it's-
like, whatever, dude. I'm playing fucking Overwatch. Leave me alone. And it got so bad. So the thing gets resolved.
It left the target demographic. Is
Right.
what happened. It got way bigger than even the joke it thought it would.
It's
you know?
it's like when a snowball goes down a mountain and it ends up being an avalanche. And you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is like not how it's supposed to be.
But it was also a pretty intense joke because, they when they found out I was alive, I'm pretty sure they started crying.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
And then we had like a game, like a championship game to go play, like right after.
That's right. You were on a team.
Yeah. So it was just like
You were on a college softball team at a college you didn't attend. You didn't attend that college.
You see why I tell you my life sounds fake, right?
You were the secondary coach or something like that.
Yeah, I was coaching.
That was a
Jalen's never played softball in his life.
Listen, I figured it out pretty quickly.
It's a pretty easy thing to figure out pretty quick. You just toss the ball,
Toss ball, run away, hit ball.
That really was crazy.
Yeah,
But
That's so fun. I didn't even think about
But there's
that
a
part
follow
of
up.
the
There's a
dynamic.
follow up. I remember a few days later we played Settlers of Catan.
Oh yeah, we
Remember
played
that day?
We played Settlers of Catan at our house.
wait, that's not the day I'm thinking about.
That was when you fucking an asshole.
No. I'm not an asshole.
day.
I'm not an asshole for this.
So he started making our friend cry, right? Is that
No.
the day? Is that the day
She
when you
cried. She was making fun, talking shit to me about like I was being an asshole in Catan, and I was like, you threw our friend to death. How am I evil?
Oh, you did bring that back up.
Everybody was like, oh, that's too far, and I was like, she did that.
Yeah, but we're from New York, so our thick skin like does not compare to like the thinness of the Californian skin.
It was a different crew.
I was
Right.
not. Till this day, I think I might have been a little too staunch. I could have backed down a little bit more. I was definitely more New York, Jamaican, Kingston than I am now. Yes. So I was.
The issue is that you reignited something that was done. You know what I mean?
It was 2 days, maybe.
It wasn't that long. It wasn't that short.
It wasn't. It was no. It was very quick.
I feel like it was like a week or two.
It was not a week. It was like they came
was very
over.
quick?
It came over pretty late, but she was like, I was.
But
like,
then one of our other friends jumped in. The fun.
No. But then the guy that alongside her did the evil thing kept making fun of her too, and I was like, "Whoa!"
It got crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I remember most about that is that it happened on that stupid high table that we got from IKEA.
Yeah.
The one that was like unreasonably tall.
Yeah.
But it felt like you could. That thing was hefty, man. Like some IKEA furniture, I'm like, this is flimsy as fuck.
Yeah,
and then that
real
thing
heavy.
felt like you could beat a dragon with that.
It, and we had to hold on to it on the top. You put the ropes around the back windows, and then I was holding on to it on the top as we drove back.
Seriously?
Dude, that was... IKEA, first of all, sucks. Fuck IKEA.
Yeah, I hate it.
Like, not for the food. Like, if you're trying to furnish a home on a budget, look, do what you got to do. Like, I'm not here to tell people that not furnish their homes, but the way IKEA is designed fucking sucks.
You should tell them to not furnish their homes.
I mean, look, I'm not a
People wanna
material
hear it.
person. Like, I could live in a house with a bed, maybe a desk, and then like, I don't know,
30
maybe
cats.
a TV stand.
30 cats?
30 cats.
32
Minimum.
cats.
30
maybe.
dirty cats.
Filthy cats.
Street cats, actually.
Every cat looks ashy gray, but most of them are actually white.
I love it.
They look like the mine children.
Yeah,
they look like
the
they're
mine
just
children.
a bunch of fucking filthy kitties.
And cats can cough, so they can like cough up some of that mine dust.
Exactly. If they cough enough mine dust, I can use it to sell as a mine. I can start my own mine by having
Now
a bunch
we're
of
talking.
dirty cats.
We can make this into a business.
This has more legs than it should.
Yeah.
Like the cats. Like all those cats.
They survived all that mining.
It really felt like there were hundreds of cats outside of that apartment fucking all the time.
Yeah. It was,
I really don't
it
understand
was
that shit.
torturous.
That whole place
Bad.
was insane.
And that's only the first apartment.
That's only phase
That's
one.
what's crazy is that's just the first year that we lived together.
Because we all lived together till when? 2000.
like
you
20
you moved out 2020.
2020?
Was it 2020 that you left? I thought it was earlier than that.
He left. He left right before COVID.
It
Like
wasn't
February.
2019?
I think it was 2019 that he left.
He moved out the
be.
February before COVID. Like right before we got shut down, at least.
Oh, is that true?
Because
I know I spent COVID by myself in that apartment, and that sucked because it was like, okay, like it's lockdown and also my first time living on my own.
Oh yeah, that must have been a weird.
So that was
time.
so weird.
Because we moved out to February. Because I remember I took the room afterwards, and then we were there till August, and then we moved.
Because you pretty much lived with people the entire time.
Yeah.
And that was like your first time, and then it was
And then it was lockdown. So it's like, yo, you're really by yourself.
I never lived alone, man. I've never, ever lived alone. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, shoot.
I've never lived alone.
Oh,
I mean, this
man,
is my
dude.
first time.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, because you went back home.
You learn things about yourself the Crucible couldn't teach you. It's intense, man.
I think if I lived alone, I would never. I think if I lived alone before Lily, I would never move in with Lily.
What do you mean?
Because I
don't get
hate sharing a space with a girl. I hate it so much.
Wait. Now or before?
Maybe before, but like, can we just live separate places and love each other forever? And asking that is insane to your partner. It's like, hey, can we just like never live together? But I love you. I'll marry you and everything.
I mean, I'd like the idea of 2 apartments.
I like that idea
I want
as well.
2 bedrooms. I want 2 separate bedrooms.
Right.
I think that is something I actually want.
The thing is,
You just have an office with a place to sleep in the office. Is how I think
But
about
then
it.
I would end up sleeping there so much more often. It's like, might as well have 2 bedrooms.
I mean, I guess maybe I don't know.
Because you guys have seen my bedroom?
like the classic?
It's decorated like a girl's bedroom with my computer and stuff in it.
Okay.
Not that I even would
It's not decorated like a girl's bedroom. It's decorated like an adult's bedroom.
No, it's a girl's bedroom. My bedroom is a female
I
bedroom.
don't think I've really seen your bedroom.
It's a bunch of like girl jewelry and like flowers and girl styling mirrors and like fucking
What do you have on the walls?
nothing in my bedroom. You have nothing. We have like one Star Wars poster now
gotta
because
have
she
one
loves
thing.
Star Wars.
You have a Star Wars poster in your bedroom? In that bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
That's so
one.
interesting.
I was told specifically.
She loves Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Lily loves. That's like her favorite.
no way.
That's why we went to the freaking Star Wars
That
celebration.
makes sense.
I thought she was just a Disney person. I didn't think she liked Star Wars.
No, she loves Star Wars, but she loves Star Wars because her dad is a nerd. Like her dad's like a classic, like reads comic book nerds.
Right.
So that's why she loves like nerd shit in general. But she got into Star Wars because of her dad.
I don't know if I could empty walls bother me. Like it makes me feel like I'm in jail or something.
I was told I was seemed like a serial killer because I had nothing on my walls.
Yeah, I don't care about having
And
things on the
so
walls
I had to
either.
get things on my walls, but I didn't care for anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang.
There's something just oppressive about it. I don't know what it is.
Because I don't like fine art like that. I just don't. I think it's.
Dude, I don't even care. It could just be fucking foam. You know what I mean?
I don't like things on my.
It's a soundproofing foam in here. Like I could give a fuck. I just
Especially
need something.
now because like living with a girl, you learn how to become like. I wasn't the tidiest. I wasn't that tidy. I wasn't a really tidy person. But living with girls, you become extremely tidy because
Listen to
of
how
being
he
around them.
is that how he undersells.
I wasn't tidy. I wasn't a tidy person at all. But I didn't have a space to be my own.
That is true.
Yeah.
You did live in our living room
Yeah.
Right,
for
right.
the damn near the entire time that we lived together.
So I like.
You remember when you
makes
woke
it
up
tough.
in a puddle when the sink exploded?
Oh my fucking! Oh my god!
Yes. Yeah.
That is a level of anger I sealed away. I sealed that shit away. I was like, I'm never gonna get this fucking mad again, dude. I had to work right
and
after.
you had
Do you remember?
to work and then come back
This
to
is
that.
at this is at the second apartment that we lived at.
Dude,
Which
oh
might
my
be crazier than Hilda. I'm thinking about
I think
it.
the second one was like I think because we had our spaces in the first apartment that we had, even if they were ours, like you had your bedroom, I had my bedroom,
Yeah.
Kingston had the living room. We were all kind of just always in our spaces.
Yeah.
But our spaces were pretty close. Like
Yeah.
the doors faced each other. We had that little alcove that we would always meet up at. It was there was no privacy in that apartment.
No. It was just we are together in that
Yeah.
first apartment.
And in the next apartment, we like our spaces were bigger and they were more separated. Like we had a hallway and each of them it was almost like an office space.
And an extra guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We had-
even your like because when you lived in our living room, but our living room in that place was
huge.
fucking
Was
so
That is
big.
an amazing apartment,
Yeah.
like layout wise. Like
I
not
really
where
li-
it is.
I would
wish.
have stayed at that apartment were it not for like a couple of like there were a couple things like roaches.
Roaches.
Roaches kind of kills everything.
Right. The kids bashing in our window.
The kid.
Dude, that's when I was in Mexico.
Are you serious?
I was in
Are you in Mexico for that?
Yeah,
Dude,
in
I was so
Mexico for
fucking
that.
He was
pissed.
so
That's when I left the potatoes by mistake, and the potatoes had the flies come to the house. Remember? And you guys found like it's the fucking potatoes.
That's right.
I was saying, it's like, why are there so many fucking flies
There was
in this
so many
apartment? It makes
flies.
no sense. We're not this
Yeah.
dirty. And then, like, in the back of this cupboard is this potato that looked like something out of a fucking Cthulhu thing.
Nuts. Yeah, I didn't
'Cause
know
it starts to
potatoes could do
yeah.
that.
I didn't know
until
they
then.
sprouted like that until
It's
that moment.
disgusting how they fucking. I thought what makes it gross about potatoes, they do that in like regular places. Like most things start growing that when you plant them.
Yeah.
Potatoes just do it.
Yeah, you're just supposed to eat them, you know? You're supposed to eat them
before they start doing
before
that.
they start torturing your world, man.
Dude, that place is
But
so
yeah,
insane.
so our other roommate at the time, Joe, would just dump his protein powder into the sink.
Yeah.
Which is basically like putting concrete in the sink.
Quite literally. Especially the protein he fucking adjusting at that time. Because at that time, he was like because seeing Joe now compared to before, Joe was huge before compared to what he is now.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
He was a wall before compared to himself now.
He was bulking up for something.
And he
carry all those boxes of jerky to our apartment.
Oh my gosh.
I love Joe like a brother. He is someone that like I will always see him as a close friend of mine. He'll be at my wedding and hopefully at my funeral.
Yeah.
But Joe is such a character that like he's so not like anyone else I've ever met in my life, which also makes him great at the same time.
Yeah.
But he's
until you wake up in a pool of
I was so
dirty sewage.
I was so mad because we were like, "Hey, what's going on?" What made it worse because he went down and you were started checking it out.
Yeah,
this is probably gonna make it worse. But we were like, "Hey,
it was bad.
What's going on?" I was like, "Hey, why is this sink making no sounds? Why is the sink under the sink wet?" And I was like, "Jan, do you see this?" And you were like, "Hey, I wonder what." Pops, the main blows up.
Terrible.
And it's just water. So genuinely at like not 11, like maybe 12 a.m. we had to call the maintenance to come and fix the fucking sink because it was gushing water. We had a pail that was filling up and it was filled in moments. In moments it was filled up.
I don't think I was there for that. I think it
was over winter time.
Yeah, I might have been. I was in New York probably
and
with
I remember
family.
I had to go
It's always
work.
when I'm gone. That's some crazy fucking shit.
Things get the worst when you're gone.
As soon as you leave, people try to destroy us. You remember when somebody tried to break into the apartment? Yeah.
So this is
everybody's home.
So this was right after Smash Ultimate came out. It was right after. We had to send everybody over. And then 3 hours later, it was so late. It was so late. 3-4 hours later, we're all sitting there, hysterical like usual, talking about something insane.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, a doorknob starts violently moving.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
oh, that's right.
You remember that?
That's right. Yeah, we were just sitting there being like,
everybody's
yeah, we were looking around like, is somebody not here?
We were right.
counting.
Counting.
It was like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because someone's trying to get in real bad right now.
Like they really need to get inside of there.
Yeah.
We were like, what's going on?
That was pretty great. You remember when the doorknob broke and we were stuck in the apartment?
Yeah. That was
I have that.
another thing
I recorded that too. There were certain things that I was like, I should confirm this because it's so crazy. You remember that one Christmas that we spent when it was just you and me? And we didn't buy any food because we just like were stupid.
Right. We forgot everything closes, right? So we couldn't order food. We couldn't like pick up food.
That's when I was in New York, right? That's when I was in New York.
Everybody was gone and it was just me and him. And we were just watching this guy smoke brisket.
Oh
my
hours.
God! I remember coming back and you guys doing that,
watching people, cook barbecue. It was like
it's like vicariously living through other people's. Right, we don't have food.
That was delicious, and we were
you could taste it. You could taste it. You were like,
yeah,
delicious.
And after that, we just kept watching those. We continued watching people cook food. It was something we developed over Christmas while starving. So.
Jesus Christ.
It makes you think like, I think we might have been like down bad for real at certain points.
We didn't need to be.
We didn't need to
at
be,
all.
But,
we all had like reasonable incomes.
It was from the past.
And we lived together. We were saving a lot of money. Like it made no sense that we were living in that way.
We couldn't let it go. Like we were too used to being poor. So we were like
I feel like I didn't start having a decent income, relative decent income, until like maybe right before we left.
What do you mean?
Because COVID is when I quit my job at Starbucks.
Oh, so you mean right around the time you did the thing that I kept telling you to do for years?
Yeah. That thing you're telling me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
If we started the podcast then, we would have made so much
I just can't believe it took you so long. It's so annoying.
Made so much
it's
money.
so annoying.
I was like, you should start. So I was like, nah, you're fucking gay.
Yeah.
Every time.
You're like, no, I've got to go into Starbucks. Insane.
I regret that so much.
Yeah.
I regret it so much now looking at it. But like, I just insane. Like,
did you have like loyalty to Starbucks or something? It was so weird that
they gave him free coffee once a week.
Oh
yeah, the coffee
that thing that he doesn't even like.
That thing that I don't like. That I would
even
give
like
to
coffee.
you. I would you would come up and I would just give it to you. I'm like, hey, do you want this?
Oh my God, that was great.
It was just the idea of like stuck in a hole mentality. I was like, oh, I'm going to school and I work at Starbucks and that is my life right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, that was so fucking dumb. I could have just not lived such a painful existence.
Yeah, man.
Be like that.
It is what it is.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn. Sometimes kids arguing over Fortnite skins break your living room window open with a chair. Because our apartment's windows in that second one shared space with the pool house.
Right.
So people could like swim and we'd see them, and it was kind of weird. There was like not a lot of privacy.
It was
like,
worse for Jalen, where your room, what became my room, because it's right, like it's like.
Oh yeah,
that door is right.
It is right there, but he at least has a gate.
I had
you know
a
what I mean?
gate.
Like
That's what it
people
was.
could go right up to my window.
Yeah.
You know, and just like, ooh, what's going on?
going on?
I think some people knew who I was too, which was like kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Because I think they saw like the, you couldn't help but see sometimes like, oh, there's like production equipment in there.
Yeah, somebody's
I wonder.
recording there. If you wanted to let in any sun, you were completely visible.
Yeah, there was no hiding.
Somebody just coming in with the middle of you recording.
You guys
something.
remember like Joe bringing a child into that apartment? We were like, this is not a place for a child.
That set me off.
That was
in a way.
crazy.
I didn't know I could get that angry. Actually,
I very much so consider
can't be
myself someone that
responsible
is
for
not
this.
that I'm not a temperamental person. I'm not temperamental. I'm really not. I really try to stay calm. I don't lose my cool because like
except for when people flood your living area.
I didn't even get mad at Joe like that because I was like, that's not Insidious, you know, that's just Joe being dumb,
right?
And like it's whatever. Dude, I have another story. It's insane, but I was like, all right, cool. We're just hanging out, and I was like, who's this white child?
Yes.
Who is this white? I walked into the house after work. I stunk of coffee and anger.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this small white child? That's unattended, too. I was
Is it unattended?
No, because they weren't there. They were
They
in
like
the back
stepped out
room or
in the
doing
back
some
or something
fuck
and
shit.
left the kid unattended. Nothing but sharp corners.
Dude, our apartment was not childproof at all because we
there
didn't
were
have
so
to.
many
We
knives.
probably had knives just left
There were
out
so
all over.
many
Can I tell you
fucking
something?
knives.
We
Guns.
absolutely did because I hid them fucking everywhere.
Everywhere.
Because I was always like, if I get doxxed or something,
Yeah.
and people show up,
You were so panicked about being killed at that period of time.
Dude, I don't know.
What
I
are
mean-
you doing? Who are you making enemies with at that
think
time?
all sorts of people for no reason. Do you not remember these times?
That's true.
Yeah. Joe had tons of weapons in his room too. And like
that's why he had nunchucks and shit.
Nunchucks.
I
He
would
had a
use them
sheet,
all
a
the
sleeve of
time.
Swords. Yeah.
Joe had real nunchucks. You ever felt the people out
Yo,
there?
those were
the
dense
weight
as
of
hell.
real nunchucks is crazy.
I think I attacked you with them once for a video, I think.
I don't remember.
I don't
remember anything.
That was part of it, I think.
You probably
Yeah.
got it. You probably did a good job. I forgot.
Apparently, you could like crack a pig's skull with a pair of nunchucks.
I guess pigs have thick skulls.
Bro, I used it in a video, man. It was in a video.
It was just a
I watched
video.
the video just on Google. I didn't even Google
That-
anything. It was
they
just like,
were
oh, this is on the front page. Like, oh, what's
Nunchucking the
this?
pigs. Yeah.
Do you
Oh my
remember?
God.
Do you remember my final one? I'm gonna bring up. Do you remember when we were all just in the living room and then Joe mistakenly put? This is not all rags on Joe. We've all done extremely stupid fucking things in that apartment, right? It's not an all rag on Joe moment, but Joe's not here to defend himself. So we're doing.
we're gonna just keep stabbing
So
and
we're
twisting.
gonna pick on him. We're gonna have him on eventually too, probably.
Sure, yeah.
So we're gonna pick on Joe this moment. There's a moment that Joe had a glass like broiling pan.
Oh my God.
That we just have, like we would heat things up with. There was one time Joe was heating up something in the front stove, and I think Jalen was gonna bake chicken or something like that.
Yeah.
So Joe left the stove on, and Jalen was like, I'm gonna put this here, I'm gonna let the stove heat up. And all of a sudden, it shattered. And me and Jalen dove to the floor because we were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Bro, we thought somebody was
attacking
shooting our
us.
windows
We
again.
were like, "What's going
Which is
on?"
crazy because our windows were facing the inside courtyard of the apartment.
Like, somebody
in the
came
courtyard.
in and was spraying us down from there. And then Chris was just standing there, like in the fucking hallway area, just waiting for whatever to happen.
Right.
And I was just like,
I
what's
totally
going
froze.
on?
The
I was
glass
like,
exploded.
Are we someone trying to kill us? I guess I'm gonna stand still.
Yeah.
But Joe was like, "Oh, what happened? Oh, the stove was on." I was like, "Joe."
Right. Because the fire was running, but there was a glass tray.
No.
There
So
was a
what
glass
happened
tray
is
on
it
top of the
It
stove.
wasn't a fire. It was one of the electric ones. That
It was
just heated
electric
up.
one?
Because I think it was fire. You would have seen it.
Right.
At least.
our stove at that time was
It was
electric. I
electric
think you're
stove.
right.
That's terrible.
So it just fucking
That was a bad thing about that
shattered.
apartment too.
I don't mind it. I don't know if I have an. I think
The electric stove that we had there wasn't very good. And then the dishwasher that was like just kept pouring roaches in.
Oh yeah. That was dishwasher was.
Was that the same apartment? Yeah, that second apartment where this all happened.
Yeah.
Was the one where Joe came back with that gray chicken. Do you remember what
it looked like?
We had to convince him not to eat completely rotten chicken.
Dude, it looked like steak.
It was great.
It looked like bad steak.
We thought he already cooked it. That's how bad it looked.
It was crazy,
and he
man.
said, "No, I'm about to." And we said, "Please, you'll die."
I think he said
None
like.
of us want to go to
I think
the
he said something
hospital.
like, "Yeah, I got it for free" or something. He was always getting free
Yeah,
food.
he did like
catering or something?
Catering, that's what it was. You guys, you did it too, right?
I did
For a bit.
catering. Yeah.
You guys did it for a while. So
You guys had so many weird jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You especially, like, you were
yeah.
a postman, and then you did like a delivery service.
Yeah.
For like
on my
groceries
moped.
on your moped.
on my moped. Yep.
You worked for that Yummy place, right? That's what it's called.
Yummy, yeah, delivering groceries to.
Do you remember back in New York
I
where you
was
sold
bartending. I was doing the catering.
Do you remember-
back in New York?
back in New York where you sold knives?
I sold knives. I worked in a warehouse. I worked at all the fast food places.
Yeah, he worked at. You worked at.
I worked at Spencer's Gifts and
Elliot
adult
and
shop.
Marco.
Yeah.
literally had jobs in the teens before we were out of our teens.
I
had one job.
We were still
before I
19
did
years
YouTube
old
forever.
because I met you guys at. I was 17, I think. I was 18. I just turned 18. I was just starting to go to college, and I met you guys, and I was like, "How many jobs have you had?" And you were like, "Oh, I worked at McDonald's. I worked at like fucking
Panera Bread. I worked
like,
at Dunkin'.
You just and I was like,
Panera Bread, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, "How many places have you worked?" And I was like, "Oh, like maybe 11." And I was like, "How have you guys worked?"
I worked at a health center.
What?
I walked through a swamp with Elliot to go and apply and interview for a job at McDonald's and got it.
You walked through a swamp?
A swamp.
Why?
I was covered in mud for the interview.
Oh my god,
Gave me the
oh
job.
my god, that reminds me of my friend Rob when we
Yeah.
before like fucking Regents exams, we got to school early, and then we walked like do you remember?
Did you do that with Elliot? Because Elliot did exactly what you're describing.
What?
With wet socks, he walked through
Dude,
some
he walked-
horribly muddy swamp.
It might have been Elliot. I don't remember exactly who it was, but like we walked behind. So across the street from our school was this like little plaza. It had like a place called the Deli Button that was really
Oh,
nice.
I remember that.
It was,
I love.
nice compared.
I love
you
that
know.
place.
Yeah.
And then behind there was like a road that took you to like kind of like a creek or something.
Yeah.
And you just go over there and like walk around, and then really Rob, before we got to school early, we were waiting like 30 minutes an hour before the final exams started.
Yeah.
And so we just wandered, and he walked into the creek and fell in, and then did the rest of he walked into the exam soaked and dirty.
My God.
It was so
said,
bad.
I'm in peak condition
Dude, it was
for
so
this
bad
exam.
because he sat so close to me. Because we did the exam in the gym.
Yes.
Because it was everybody from like everywhere. So it was like a big room.
I did my reading exams there.
Oh, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
I did exams there because I didn't go to school in the district. I went to school outside district because I lived outside district initially.
Yeah.
So I did the Regents exam I did my last ones when I was going to graduating high school. I did them there, but I did my first ones in what was Wappingers called?
I don't remember.
Well, Wappingers. It was what was
Was
it?
Ketchum
Wappingers
the
High.
school?
It's Ketchum. Yeah,
Ketchum,
it was Ketchum.
I went to one of their proms.
And I was just there doing it, and I hate Fishkill School. I hate that place so much.
It's not great.
But I want to go back.
But
'cause
dude, I thought I was safe because like it was alphabetically done, right? You would sit alphabetically, and his last name was A and mine was M. I thought we'd be far enough away from each other, but like
Oh, it wrapped
Just-
around.
it just wrapped around eventually, and we were so close, and it's dripping. The entire, and it was and you could
dripping
hear it.
during an exam.
Dude,
is
you
You
could-
gotta
great.
focus while you're cold and dirty, and you're definitely getting sick.
It was
you
so
can feel it
funny.
happening
Yeah,
progressively.
absolutely.
It was so fucking funny, man.
Oh my gosh.
But that's way back. That's way before any time we're talking about.
Insane, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like the last like 14 years of our lives has been a really, really insanely written comedy show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The fact that
gets
so much-
funny in a different way every year.
The fact that so much of it is missing too.
Right.
Like there's so much that I also don't
You
remember.
jumped out of a car when we were moving in because like you have to get your order when we were moving into the Burbank place,
When we were moving
without
into-
a shirt.
It was 116 degrees or something on the day that we
crazy.
were moving. I remember it. It was October 1st, 2017. I remember this.
Yeah.
Like fucking nobody's business. It was 116 degrees. The mountains to where we were moving were on fire.
On
you
fire.
could see the fire. It was raining ash.
Yeah.
And we were moving all of our stuff into this new building. And so we were just trying to survive. I took my shirt off. I think most of us were shirtless. I think.
Yeah.
'Cause it was just like, how are you? We were gonna die otherwise. And I remember because the apartment that we moved into had no internet. Like we didn't have the internet set up, and the signal was bad. And so I was like trying so hard to order food. I hadn't eaten all day. I was hungry. We were moving all the shit in crazy Mars level heat.
Right.
And just wasn't going through. So I gave up. And we were moving, and then as we were driving back to the old place to grab the last remaining things, we stopped off at a light. I get a notification from Postmates or Uber Eats or whatever. Your food has arrived, and it arrived to the place that we just left. And I turned to Jane, and I was like, I gotta go. And we were at an intersection. And so I left. I just left. I left the truck at the intersection and ran back to the building. And you just drove it the rest of the way.
And outside perspective,
you know
a man bursts from a U-Haul truck with no shirt on,
running,
starts
running away from you.
You know what's really sad about it is
What?
by the time I got to the food, there were flies on it, and I ate it anyway.
You had to eat something, dude.
I was
gotta eat
so dire.
Yeah.
Dude, remember when we moved from that place to the next place and we spent all day carrying stuff, and then one of our friends, she brought her table and it just apparated away and it disappeared.
I don't remember that.
Table
Gabby
was
brought
made
her
of ice?
table. Everybody brought her table and they were loading it in a car, and she was like, "Can I load it in here?" And I was like, "Gabby, I don't think that table has much time left."
I don't remember that.
So flimsy.
What?
And it broke, and we were like, "Bud, this is gonna break. This is
The fact that we did that move in such a short time too.
Dude, we definitely hurt ourselves.
We hurt ourselves.
We were coughing
Because we moved 4 people's apartments worth of things in less than 24 hours. This was after you left already. This was after we did the COVID move.
It was all of. It was
And
all of the
that was when we
burning,
found out that we were all fucking exposed, right?
Yeah, because our friend got our friend's boss got COVID. Then they got COVID. And they were like, "Hey, my boss has COVID." And then Lily was freaked out and left. Because she was just like, "I don't want to kill my family potentially," and I was like,
We found that out at the end of the day, or in the middle of the day when we were moving.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty
Oh
rough.
my
was
God.
such a
Thank God the move was only a couple blocks.
dude. We
But,
moved a lot of shit that day because we were like, we just want to get out.
Right.
So we just
Oh, you moved everybody's apartment into one apartment.
everything.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it
And
was a lot.
I definitely hurt myself because we were moving we just didn't stop. There was no pause. We just kept all right, cool. If that thing's done, let's go get the rest of the stuff. And it was rough. And I remember all of it done. We were all so exhausted. And then I was like, oh, I forgot my bed stuff. So I walked back up the street at 2 a.m. Took a shower in that apartment.
That's right.
Wrapped myself in 4 blankets because I didn't bring pants with me to change into.
Oh, my. You are full homeless.
So I literally,
this is amazing.
I literally had to put the same underwear back on and then wrap blankets around my legs.
That's such a defeating moment.
and walk back down. I looked like a fucking SCP
Oh my
walking down
I
the
remember
fucking
that.
street. And I walked the apartment and you were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I had to shower. I felt gross. And I just walked in my room and closed the door.
Right. That's the only response you could do. Just I can't say
insane.
anymore.
That was such a crazy night because everybody thought the world was ending.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
The fact that COVID was 5 years ago
It doesn't feel like that long
is
ago at all.
insane.
Yeah. It's because we lost so much time.
That period of time,
it was,
yeah,
it was a
everything
time
was-
skip.
It was 2 years of just nothing.
Yeah.
2 whole years of us just nothing. The end of our 20s was stolen from us,
Well,
literally.
I just started saying freak it and started traveling, though. I was traveling during COVID, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, so
Traveling
what?
makes sense.
And it was great because it was incredibly cheap, great parties, people were cool,
Yeah.
and I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick until I got back to my office, and then
You know what I'm
those people
convinced
got me
of?
sick.
I'm convinced that before you even left, we all got COVID.
I think you're right.
I'm convinced
I
like
think
that
we had it
that,
early.
That December,
all of us got sick.
we were
Gabby.
wildly
Because
maybe, I don't know.
we
Gabby
were
got
rough.
sick first, and then she was staying with us. For some reason, I don't remember why.
No,
was
no,
staying
she
with us.
wasn't. She stayed with us during COVID because
Proper. She's lived with us for that
yeah,
period of time.
because she was there when everything happened. She was there when the curfew happened.
Oh my God! I remember the curfew. That was a thing. I forgot. Yeah, but
Yeah, we got that fucking message, and we were like, "Hey, stay where you are." And I was like, "Yo,
you
this
were-
shit's gonna be
and
crazy."
we were like, "Hey, you're not gonna go back to your apartment. You're just gonna stay with us for the period
Yeah,
of
yeah.
time.
And then she was there for months.
Because we were fucking the world paused.
Yeah.
So I remember that
intense.
happened, but I remember we all got sick. We all got really weirdly sick. It was me, Chris, and Gabby got really weirdly sick, and then we were like, all right, I guess. And then we started using these fucking halls, the fucking citrus halls.
Oh,
We were
yeah,
taking
yeah,
them
the vitamin C.
wildfire.
Oh, really?
And I'm pretty sure we didn't get COVID because our blood was so vitamin C. If we cut ourselves, light would come
Yeah.
out.
Oh my god,
It was
That's how you.
Yeah, my
Insane.
mom sent me like hundreds of them. That's
That
like a
was
care package because she was
crazy.
scared. She was like, she was
garlic
worried about
vampires,
it.
man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because her son was across the country during a plague. Understandable.
Yeah.
I remember my
It's a
aunt.
little plague,
I remember my
dude.
aunt's economy like, "Hey, how's it going over there?" And I was like, "I don't know. The world might end."
Was it bubonic levels or no? Not quite.
COVID?
Yeah.
I think it was
No,
worse
it
than
wasn't-
bubonic levels.
no,
That
it
time.
wasn't worse.
bubonic just Europe?
I think
Bubonic
ca-
was
I
just
think-
your. It was. So the.
I think casually wise, it was way worse than bubonic plague.
I don't think so.
we lost a,
was-
we lost a
plague
generation of people from COVID.
Yeah, but not like, the plague was crazy.
I think it was crazy.
I don't think you can compare it really.
I think it was.
What about
crazy.
yellow fever? Was that worse than the plague?
No,
Did that happen? Is that yellow fever real?
Yellow fever was a thing.
I think it was. I think.
Yeah,
so.
it was a thing.
I think it was.
I
in
thought that was
Africa,
like
though.
a
It was in
racist-
Africa,
I
right?
thought
It was
Yeah.
all over. It was all over.
The yellow
it was,
plague. It seems like this. What? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. I thought yellow fever was like a racist term for like liking Asians.
No, that
I
you're
think no.
thinking
That
of a
is
different term.
No,
but yeah.
that is true. The more famous one is jungle fever, though.
Oh, right.
But yellow fever is real. That is, that is a real.
it's so
yellow fever
crazy.
was real. There were signs that were actually harder to tell yellow fever in black people because like
Our skin,
our
yeah.
skin, because one of the signs was like you would be tinted yellow. Your
Oh,
eyes
that's
would have, like, a
crazy.
yellow tint. Your
But a lot of
skin,
black
your
people just have
nails.
yellow color to their eyes because of the nature of us
Like
being
you could
slaves.
just be, you could
So
just
we
be
have-
overworked, bro. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on no more, man. Like, Jalen will send me these facts about the sun every now and again.
That's
and then
true.
I'll just, I'll be like, sure, why not?
You know,
Why do you
it
want to
re-
know about the sun? I feel like that should. I feel like cosmic stuff is just like I don't care.
I mean, yes, yeah. Don't care about the cosmic stuff because if it happens, it's like a it's scapegoat.
irrelevant,
It's
yeah.
just, it's just like it happens, whatever. But it was so interesting because things were getting crazy for a while, and we're still in solar maximum 2025.
The fact that he
This
knows that.
is,
You know what I mean?
Solar maximum, part of the sun's 11-year solar cycle. So we were getting all the crazy auroras, all the crazy
I know the auroras have
coronal
been
mass
different, yeah.
ejections, and
You kept freaking me out, man. You
Dude,
kept
it was
sending
getting
me
wild.
You're sending me scary shit about like
I
is
was
a
waiting
solar
to see
flare's
this-
gonna kill your mom.
Dude, I was like,
Directly,
solar
it
flares.
has
are
your
like-
mom's name in it. Like they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna
They
kill
were
Rich's
getting up
mom.
there. If they were facing Earth in the right way, it was like, hey, we can get that nice shutdown we've been waiting for. Really
That-
slow down Elon.
Oh yeah.
That would be really scary for like a month of just like in the dark ages because I don't think we'd survive.
I just wanted to see if we could get that cowboy bebop satellites raining from the sky type of vibe.
Right.
I feel like that.
Starlink we coming down like crazy.
I feel like that'd be really cool to see, not experience.
Well, as long as it
but
doesn't
then
land on you.
nobody's to blame for that.
Nobody's to blame, but
That's
people,
true, it's
So
but-
that's why it was kind of it was like
But
it's
people
just part of life now.
It
It's
would be
like
nice if
COVID.
something went wrong that was just not the fault of anybody.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
If
But
there's
that-
just
but
like,
I don't think it matters.
It's something that we all have to deal with together.
Yeah, but I
what
don't.
a unifying.
I don't think
devastation.
I do you remember how like after World War I, we could have like signed the Treaty of Versailles, and we just didn't.
No, but that's different.
We chose to like still just remember how during COVID where it just a thing happened instead of everybody being like, let's be respectful to this thing. They were like, this is fake.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I think what he's saying is like, if it's not even necessarily about whether or not people would treat it as such. It's more about like we would all know intrinsically that like this is not malice,
Right.
like so much else is. It's not like fucking, I don't know, Israel. It's just like, oh, the sun did a thing.
I feel like
that
they-
you can't control. Like the sun's not biased.
Right. It's like we all have to deal with like an earthquake.
It's like when
the
Yellowstone
entire-
happens.
Yeah.
Whenever that.
I feel
Oh,
like
there's actually a volcano out in the ocean that's like
The one by
kinda
Hawaii.
close to us.
It's the one by Hawaii,
that's
right?
underwater, and it's getting very active.
Oh hell yeah!
If it blows, it could really
Do a
wipe
little-
us-
do a little bit
wipe
of a
us out.
tsunami.
Yeah. Well, more than a tsunami.
the whole western
West Coast.
seaboard would be fucking underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, we could
Well, we would
be
be
in a
we
way.
would be fucked over, but like Portland area, like the proper coast is gone. It just shrinks in. we would just be fucked over because, you know, we would have a lot of intense flooding. And Cali's not built for flooding. It would be mudslides up the ass.
I'm sure I wouldn't be here, though.
Yeah.
Like, if that thing blows up, like, I'll probably, I don't know, my luck would probably have me in, like, the East Coast.
I think when that happens, the moment activity happens, you just have to leave. Because what happens, I've realized, is that people don't...
traffic.
No. People don't leave immediately. No, people don't leave immediately. That's the problem.
A lot of people do just be like, we'll be fine.
Yeah. That what happens is when that happens, it's unfortunate because your property is gone, you know, because it sucks for me particularly because Lily's family owns that property, like, actually.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has apartments.
Dude, I remember
living in an apartment is fine.
Dude, I remember when these fires were going on, the
Yeah.
most recent fires, the big, because when we were like, I looked at my, like, what's that app that everybody was downloading to look at the fires, like, watch something?
Yeah,
whatever.
to steal your data.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, another fucking mapping app, the fucking Pokemon Go thing.
Right,
That was
yeah.
this Chinese app crowd mapping for America. It's like, that is so not okay.
Honestly,
but clearly it was.
what do I have,
Clearly
like-
it was the whole time. But
Go
like,
ahead, take. Like, honestly, what the fuck do I, you know? It's. I was never under the illusion that there was any kind of privacy ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think-
a lot of people are like, oh, our privacy's gone. It's
had
like, brother,
privacy.
your privacy's been gone for fucking ever. The,
Yeah,
fact that you even have a phone with you.
Right. And that was never even my gripe. My gripe is we're getting our data taken and it's getting sold for money. It's worth something and we're not getting paid for it.
That's
That's-
that's
yeah.
my whole thing. It's just like,
Yeah, at least
you're
chime
taking
me
my
in.
data for free.
At least give me royalties.
And you're selling it, so it's worth something, but I'm not getting any royalties. I don't get a piece of my own pie.
100%.
Why?
that's literally money you're working for them to have that you have no say
Right.
in.
So it's like, if you're going to take my data, at least pay me.
Exactly.
Crazy. You're just digging
Right.
in my pocket.
A lot of people just do it for free, though. So
Yeah.
Why would they do that? Why would they pay you when they don't have to?
Well, it's because we all don't say anything at the same time.
We're never gonna say anything. They've made a very good job at us being like, hey, this is a problem. You know what's a bigger problem? What's a bigger problem?
It's a bigger
How many
problem.
black people are in television shows? And it's like,
that shit is
Everybody
crazy.
says,
we're doomed. We're cooked.
Right. It's like,
That shit always really did bother me, man. Just like the focusing on such stupid shit when there's so much.
It's always been that
I
way,
know,
man.
but like it's special. I had more faith, I guess, that like as time would go on, we would be smarter. And it has not been repaid, really. You know.
If
If anything, I think things are like really stupid now. Like I actually think like people don't know how to read anymore. Like it's getting scary.
Well,
I
that's
think-
the thing. We're in a society. People don't realize that we're just cleverly barbaric.
Barbarism has never left
Like, it's never left,
humanity
exactly.
at all.
No,
Like
no,
it's
no.
still just as barbaric. It's just a little clever.
We're just not.
It's
we're
just
just-
we do it with like a GoPro on a drone now.
right.
We're not socially
wait.
barbaric anymore. We had a long period of time of being socially barbaric, like in the societal fashion, and now we're just barbaric in the way we live by ignoring shit.
Yeah, it's passive barbarism.
It's like
kind of.
and granted, like, you know, you can only affect the world in such a finite way, but like we have smartphones. The nature of how smartphones are created is inherently extraordinarily barbaric.
It's a little iffy.
Extraordinarily barbaric. It's unfair.
It's a little iffy. You know?
The fact that there are second world countries.
He didn't know about the
period.
mines.
You didn't, exactly.
didn't know the
You know about
mines.
the children in the mines. You know.
Yeah.
It's fucking
I want to
weird,
clarify.
dude.
I did know about child labor.
I don't. You know about child labor, but not child minery.
No, of course. That's like it makes sense. I would do it.
Wait, work in the mines?
Would
If
you
I-
send
look-
your small child to the mines if they were more adept for being it? Because they're younger.
had a good
their
work
lungs,
ethic.
Their lungs are gonna heal back faster than my lungs would heal back. They're smaller,
That's
You're
true.
saying
But-
they'll be capable of adapting? Is
much better than me as a 31-year-old.
Yeah, it's like why you send kids to war.
Exactly. Like they're not gonna
They're
shoot
not
a
gonna
little.
send they're not going to send me, a 31-year-old with a minus 10 prescription onto the battlefield.
Exactly, dude.
They're going to send
right.
11-year-old Tony.
well, no, they
'Cause
wouldn't
you're
even
not
send
gonna-
us
you're not
into the
gonna gun
battle.
down
Well,
a
he's
little
not Tony
kid.
yet. He's Anthony right now. But like,
he can't change his name.
he'll be
He's
Tony
He's
when he's-
Tony in 21.
oh, yeah, hey
21.
Tony, there goes Infantry Tony.
Infantry Tony.
He has a bunch of guns on him. Hey,
It's going to be a dire situation
Classic
one of these
Infantry Tony.
days.
it's really gross.
I don't know.
Everything's gross. Everything's insane. I feel like
I didn't really think about a lot of
If
this
they
stuff.
found
though.
a way to force me into being an infantry person, I would at least ask to be a demolition expert.
Oh,
I
like
want the grenade.
you'd be like a heavy.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah,
a heavy.
yeah.
That would be my class.
I'd be recon. I think.
And the RPG.
I'd be a stealth class for
Lucky
sure.
shots
I would
only.
I would be absolutely a
RP.
medic because I feel like most of the time I don't have to. Like when it gets there, it's like, look,
What do you mean? You're gonna be working with the people blown to bits?
I know, but like, how are you going to expect me to fix that?
I'm a demolition
If you-
expert.
if you
I'm not
br-
gonna get it right every time.
Bring
but,
me-
you know,
If you bring me a human being as like a Lego set, what do you expect me to do?
Save him.
What do you expect me to do?
Use your medic class and bring him back to life.
I'll use my band-aids to reconnect this guy's
I wouldn't
spinal
even call
cord.
you a medic. I'd call you necromancer. I'd be like, save him, necromancer.
use your magic to bring him back.
A military necromancer is crazy.
That is, it's genius.
Yeah,
It's essentially
really-
what it is at a certain point.
It's
like he's got no
unethical.
he's got no limbs left.
Well,
Bring him back somehow, please.
I feel like that's plausible for the future. Education is so siloed, right? We're only supposed to have expertise in one area.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So if my expertise is in demolitions, why would I know anything about medics? You know, it would just be like, okay,
I feel like that's
you're going to be the necromancer. Put him back together with all our future tech.
I feel like that's
Get
so
on with
insane,
it.
but it's clearly true because like kids don't
Well,
watch
it's becoming-
PBS. People don't watch PBS.
I
You know?
imagine it becoming more and more true
'Cause
as
kids don't learn things the same way.
education, at least here, gets more and more stifled. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It really is. It is sad to think that like the education that I got is comparatively like a lot better.
The
The education that we got
That
in our
we got.
public school is better
in our
than
public school
today.
that we I'm pretty sure we just giggled our way through most of the classes that we
absolutely.
had together. It was ridiculous.
I paid
Do you remember when we
attention
had
in
that
school.
final exam and then like we were laughing and so the teacher just took our exams from us in the
They
middle?
failed us. They were like, you're zeros, both of you, because we started laughing. We're on the opposite sides of the room. They thought we were communicating or something. No, we're just fools. Like, he didn't get it. He was just like, no, we just
You
like
don't
laugh.
get the joke. Wait,
You don't
take a
get it.
second. Let me
but
explain
imagine-
the joke to you.
Imagine us trying to explain the joke to a teacher though.
Right.
It would be impossible. We were just like,
They don't
no,
think we're lying. We're like, there's no joke. Like,
no,
we
no,
didn't-
Mr. Woods, listen. I'm looking over at him.
Yeah.
And because he looked over at me and we know that we're not allowed to laugh, that is really funny.
That's really
but,
exactly.
but everyone understands that.
Didn't matter.
That
Didn't matter to this teacher that
They're
was
like, "Where
getting
you're
paid way
cheating."
too little to have his job of pretty much being a daycare center for all these stupid ass teenagers.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't choose his life. All right. So
You know what's
probably
crazy
did.
too is that the tech that we had at that time, or this tech that we were starting to have at that time,
Yeah.
like they could not keep up with. Like there were definitely teachers who were there that were like so old
they couldn't keep
that, like,
up with that old ass tech.
Well,
Yeah.
dude,
It's relative, you know?
Well, you and I, what was 2007 to 2011 was our high school.
Yeah.
So like we went from having no cell phones at all to having like the fucking smartphones
Right,
immediately.
smartphones, yeah.
And so like we could just Google the answer. I remember Googling the answer straight up to like a couple of our tests that we got.
I didn't have a
Oh, man.
smartphone until I finished high school. Like I didn't have like a proper. I had like a fucking.
I had a Droid. I remember.
I wasn't
a
even
droid.
clever enough to cheat. Really, I was just like, I'm just gonna, whatever comes of this test comes of it.
I wasn't a cheater in school enough, but it's just.
I cheated at the subjects that I knew if I failed would fuck me over, and ones that I knew that I was just simply not good at. Like there's no chance I'm going to get better at this in like the short amount of time that I have that it wouldn't affect me.
Right.
So like I gotta do it.
That is so
Sorry.
opposite of the truth, especially in like academics in like high school. You can learn them during it. It's
I'm not
hard.
I'm not a math
Oh,
guy.
man.
Chris, I'm telling you right now, if I learned, dude, my last year of college, I had so my math credits wore out, so I had to do a composite math class from algebra to Calc 2. The worst class experience of my life.
That sounds really horrible.
It was terrible, but I can do math right now because of how bad I was experiencing it.
You don't understand.
Lily was like, Kingston, why are you
This is in
doing
high
this?
school? No,
it was
it's not.
college. It was my
Okay,
last year.
okay,
Because she was
okay.
like, Kingston, why are you doing this?
High school was crazy.
And I was just like, I think high school was. I think the way high school's built is so fucking wrong.
Joe almost blew up our high school. I know we're not
Remember with
supposed
the
to keep
wood
the-
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
With the wood stuff at the
That
freaking
was
thing.
actually crazy.
He told me that story. It's insane.
It's nuts.
What are you saying?
So they decided that we were all responsible enough to handle a welding class, including like oxygen and acetylene tanks and all this good stuff. However,
public school.
our teacher, who was a really nice guy, Mr. Jensen, great teacher, he was struck with cancer. And so
Struck is a crazy word.
That is the
yes.
best way to say it because no one did it.
Right.
It's from,
It was
from on high.
No,
like
for-
lightning. So his cancer came back. He had to go out, and we got a sub for the entire class.
For that, a substitute
For a welding
teacher
class. And
is
he-
crazy.
Absolutely insane.
Especially when you know now. What's crazy is that like, we're all adults.
Yeah.
We know we have been friends or in communication with people who are substitute teachers.
Exactly.
You know.
And our substitute teacher was missing a few fingers.
Of course.
So things didn't go well for him.
He wasn't a great one.
But so Joe, I spent that class. Anytime I had a class with my friends, it was a blast. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It was a vacation, effectively.
And Joe would, very nice guy, but when he didn't like something, he was like completely up against it. So he butted heads with this teacher, and the teacher would kick him out all the time, or I would get Joe into a lot of trouble. And I'd get Joe into a lot of trouble a lot. Especially like the teacher would be like yelling at him, like have him say after class, yell at him. And then I'd stay out in the hallway and I'd be screaming in the hallway, and Joe would start laughing while somebody's yelling at him. Get into way more trouble.
Dude,
so Joe never learned anything in the class, like kind of use the materials properly. So one day we're outside, we're welding, right? And I'm welding, paying attention to my thing. So I'm right. And then I hear this thing happen that they warned us about. They're like, hey, you've got to turn on the tanks in a certain in a certain sequence. Otherwise, the flame will shoot back up into the tank and explode. And like this was something that everybody in the class knew, except for Joe, was like the procedure for how you doing all these things.
Oh my God.
And then so one day we're all welding, and Joe starts turning the knobs all in the wrong ways, and it starts squealing, and there's a little bubble traveling in the tube.
You can see the bulge of the
There's a
bubble.
bulge coming back, and you hear it. It's a loud, high-pitched, like squealing noise coming from the tank because it's going back the wrong way. And I'm screaming at Joe, turn all the knobs to the right. I'm like, turn it to the right, turn it to the right. He's doing the opposite of what I'm telling him, and it's getting louder and worse. And I'm like, yo, we're gonna die. I can't even run away fast enough. We got all these tanks here. They're all going to go off for sure. And Joe's doing it all right. The garage door's open, and one of our friends, who, for no good
Aaron,
reason,
right?
Aaron, was out of class. Apparently, he just left class. He's roaming the outside of the school. Runs into the garage. He should not have been there at all. Runs into the garage, stops, and starts following my instructions and starts turning it all the right ways. And stops this explosion from happening. Joe, Aaron saved everybody on that wing of the school.
Killed everyone in that building.
Everybody. It was such a dire situation, and from one of our random friends to happen to skip class that day to just roam and run in and save us.
This is why you always skip class.
You skip
you
class,
never know.
kids.
Like he saved
lives.
people's
Friends
lives.
and skip class.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the two pieces of it.
Make friends and skip class. We skipped class for Halo. That was good.
Did we?
College.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we went home.
Yeah.
We all went to college for Halo 4 too, which is crazy. It wasn't even like the one that I liked. But like we got there in the morning.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You want to just go home and play Halo?" So we drove to school.
We drove to school, and then like 5 or 6 people said, "Yeah, I don't want to do this." And we left and all got on Halo.
So irresponsible.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
That's college though. Like
I
oh my God. I have skipped college for a chance to talk to a girl. Not even speak to her. Like it's college. I don't care. Like it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. I'll just go over the lesson plan. It's gonna get posted on whatever Canvas thing it's gonna be on anyway. I'll just look at it there.
Oh my gosh.
Going to class in college is stupid almost. It's not stupid. If you need help with your classes, you should probably go. But if you're doing fine, fuck it, dude.
No, I didn't.
Use meth.
I didn't have trouble. I didn't have a good time with my teachers. And then I figured out the trick was to not listen to teachers. And I just read the textbook. And it explained everything so much better. It was the craziest solution I could come up with. But it helped so much.
Teachers are useful if you don't understand the thing.
But if
you do understand it, it's fine.
In whatever like mathematics class I was in college, I just read the textbook, and it solved all my problems.
Every math teacher I ever had was just terrible compared to the textbook.
Yeah.
And I just gave up.
I was like, why aren't they just explaining it like this?
For me,
I just knew early at that point, I was like, I'm just not going to be a math person, I guess.
Because I heard of Marco. He read the entire history textbook. And then he was just like, yeah, they made everything easy for me. And I was like,
yeah,
you just do that? And I was like, all right, I'll read the entire math textbook. Changed everything.
The only time teachers are necessary for me is when I genuinely don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Well, the issue, too, is that you feel stupid asking questions.
I never.
Especially when the teachers don't have any patience whatsoever.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get paid nothing.
I don't have that problem. If I'm very confused, I'll be like, hey guys, I don't know what's going on. Please help me.
Oh my god.
If I'm very like if I kind of grasp it, I'll just go to YouTube and someone on YouTube will be able to explain it to me. You know, but like
Yeah,
if I'm like lost in the water, like let's say right now I got dropped into a fucking I don't know a blacksmithing class.
Right.
I'd be like, hey, I don't know where to start. Please put me on a path to start. But if I kind of get like you drop me in like a fucking I don't know like a fucking physiology class, I'd be like, oh, I understand basic physiology. Just read the book.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm getting hungry. Like something
What time
fierce.
is it?
So we're
Sorry,
gonna.
I feel like
Oh God, it's later than
yeah,
I thought it was.
yeah. So we're gonna bid farewell. But thanks for popping by. And if you're listening to this when it's public, patreon.com/SnarkTank over there, all that stuff. And we're not going to do the credits. I'm not doing the credits. I'm not doing the credits for this. I really do. It's going to take a while.
The boys continue to talk for an additional 15 minutes.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
We planned on doing this a long time ago, but like things got busy for everybody, basically.
The last 3 months have been insane with our friend group. It's been like
yeah,
we had
weddings and
two
trips
weddings right after one another, and then my birthday. No, we had a wedding, birthday again, then my birthday again.
Right.
It sucks. I hate springtime.
Yeah.
So fucking much.
I got another wedding next week.
Yeah, another
Next
one
week, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
least
But
you
it's
have
gonna be
suit.
really nice.
Where's it gonna be?
It's I don't know. But I know the next
That's exactly what I never know. The day of is when I learned when I got invited to Nikki and Jordan's wedding. I was like, okay, cool. Didn't look up the place. Didn't look up where it was. On the day that I woke up to get dressed, I was like, I should look up where this.
Yeah.
I thought it was way closer.
I just know there's a yacht party the next day for the wedding. Like
Oh, that
after
sounds-
Oh, that's
wedding yacht party. So I was
That's
just like,
cool.
all right.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's fun.
That wedding was a fucking blast. It was
Which one?
so fun. Ziggy and Jordan's wedding.
Oh yeah. That was
And then
great.
Paul's wedding, I didn't think it was going to be a big. I didn't think it was going to be a ceremony because I spoke to him and it's like we're going to just say our vows.
He was lying.
He's like, you don't got to come early. Like just show up. I appreciate you being there.
He showed up in a helicopter.
Yeah,
and
dude, they dropped him down.
And I was
crazy.
like, Dominguez, you told me it's not going to be big. I haven't seen your parents in almost 12 years.
Oh, you didn't think
God.
his parents were gonna be at his wedding?
I thought it
Like,
was.
no,
I
they're not
thought
coming.
you know how we orchestrate things as our friend group. It's never anything like it's never an organized event. It's always something smaller.
Sure,
And
but it's
I
a
was,
wedding.
and I was just like, oh, I thought it was more or less like a party, like more of a barbecue. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was really. We had two weddings back to back to compare them, and one was clearly a ceremony, and one was clearly
More of a party. And I
Right.
was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get there a little late. You know, it's not a big deal. I'll show up. I show up and he's giving his vows.
Yeah.
In front of I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then you guys made me talk, and the music that was playing.
No one
and I was-
made you talk.
Yes, Gabby and you were
Maybe.
like, you should
Yeah,
talk,
yeah,
and you were
yeah.
like,
I
you
was
should
like, you
talk,
gotta
and I was
talk.
like,
Yeah.
of course
Yeah.
I have to talk. I'm here so fucking late. So I gave a fucking stupid ass sappy fucking thing, and I tried not to cry because I almost cried like 5 times in a matter of 10 seconds.
Dude, yeah. I gave 2 speeches. One with Gabby.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that was fun.
I
didn't want to.
I
walked up.
Right.
I thought it was over,
yeah, right. You walked
and
up
I was like,
"Here's the
hugging him,
mic."
and here's the mic. I was like, all right, I guess it's time.
I hate giving speeches in general. I'm just not I'm not good in front of crowds.
I'm good in front of crowds if I'm not fucking sick.
Oh God, yeah, you were.
Remember that live show we did?
You
And
were
I was like
fading.
fucking,
You were
You were
like
in a live show while passing away.
Dude,
he
we
was
did a live
constantly,
show.
like curling over a little bit. And I was like, you trying to become fucking Sonic?
Dude,
Like,
I
what's
ate
going on?
something bad or something because like I had two shows because
Yeah.
I did the show with you and then I did the show with the PlayStation show, and this is one of the first live shows that we did, and I was just sick out of my mind.
Oh, dang.
And I wanted to go out and like go into the audience and like do some stuff, and I was like, I won't. I'm
wanna
gonna
do
throw
crowd
up.
work?
Did you ever I don't know, tell that story about the absinthe to your audience?
Oh
Did
my
they know
God,
that?
I almost forgot about that. I don't know.
Because there's still a bunch of stories that I know we're not
There's a
remembering.
bunch of stuff. We'll probably do it again at some point.
We gotta do it
in the
again. 'Cause
future.
I know we're gonna
'Cause
be
there's
hanging out and
definitely-
then something weird's gonna happen. Like this other fucked up time.
Right.
The absinthe shit. So
Do you remember the
tell me-
absinthe with Danny?
What? Absinthe
Remember
with
when we
Danny?
did it freaking in New York when we ate the worm?
No, I wasn't there for that then.
You
eat
ate
the
a
worm with
worm?
us?
I didn't eat no
We
worms.
ate the worm. So
Kingston eats
still
worms,
was
everybody.
straight edge. But in New York, I still didn't drink.
Yeah,
So-
we both didn't drink at all, basically.
you guys were straight edge. I forgot.
Yeah.
The druggies were
Well, it
me
wasn't
and the
like-
other guys. We were the fucking pothead drunks.
I don't like to say straight edge necessarily because that like comes along with stuff. I just kind of didn't want to do it.
Right. Well,
it
you
wasn't
know,
like a principle or anything.
We were in an environment where, like, all the girls we hung out with drank.
Yeah.
And then all of the guys did not. And they would get sloshed, and we'd have to deal with the problem. That
Yeah, we
came
would always
with.
have to do-
And
like, I
then it
remember
was
a friend
just
of ours-
That shit was really shitty. How
Yeah.
Do you remember at the there was like a birthday party that we went to? This was like during high school.
Yeah.
And like all the girls were drinking and we just didn't.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And then one of them went fucking missing in the woods.
Oh, God. I wouldn't be surprised.
And
Was this
we-
one of the times when we were, like, camping out in the
Yeah, it was
backyard?
one of the campouts.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went out into the woods looking, and then we found her sleeping in the back of a car.
Right.
Like in the
Right.
driveway.
And we
it
were
was
looking for this girl that was drunk, and we definitely lost her. And it was like, oh.
Yeah, and it was
crap.
hours.
Yeah.
dude, nothing.
That was the
bothers
whole
me more than
party
that.
basically turned into a search
But it
party.
was how it was, dude.
That,
I
so much
was
vomit.
I would drink a lot when I was younger, for probably whatever reason. And by the time I got out here, I was kind of already off of drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
But I remember we bought a Moscato, it was Moscato, I think, or something like that, and we ate the worm at the bottom of it, and I was hallucinating. Oh my! Like I was so
You
I was
fucking ate an absinthe worm. You
I
sick,
was
disgusting
so
freak.
I was so drunk. I was so drunk that my piss smelled like alcohol.
Oh, that's rough.
It
That's
was like
bad, dude.
Like it was like so bad that
I
like,
had alcohol
was,
poisoning. I don't even think I've experienced
Dude,
that.
I was drinking water. I was drinking water, and when it touched my tongue, it turned into like Listerine, pretty much. Like I was so beyond drunk. I was
Your
sweating.
body was
And
confused.
I was sweating, and it would smell like alcohol. And I was like, I have to go home,
Dude.
If I don't go home right now and I die, my grandma's gonna fucking kick my ass.
Right.
So I had to
So
Yeah.
I think I might have told the absinthe story, but I don't know if I remember it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like from my perspective, it was like we went to a party at this girlfriends of ours
Yeah.
apartment. They
Yeah.
live in Oakwood actually, which is like apparently a very famous fucking Los Angeles apartment. A lot of actors like Conan O'Brien.
I
and
know
all
the ones
those-
you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, they come out of there? No
Yeah,
way.
it's like that weird building in New York where like Larry David and like fucking Timothy Chalamet lived.
Timothy Chalamet, Larry David, freaking.
Oh, Charlemagne the God. Yeah,
What's
I've
his
seen
name?
Breakfast Show.
Coleman Diego. Like all of them lived
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
place in freaking Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, but
all
that-
of them lived there. It's insane.
But that apartment complex is that apartment complex like out here. It's like
yeah.
it's crazy. I was like looking, I was like, that's where fucking our friends live. That's crazy.
Right.
But that's the absinthe apartment, which is hilarious to think about.
Right.
But I remember it was like some birthday party or something, and it was our first time out here. Like I remember when I came out here, I just let the fuck loose. I was immediately
Yeah.
I was like, I'm drinking all the time,
Yeah.
fucking whatever. I'm like, I'm 21. I don't have to think about like how this is going to reflect on my family.
You're right.
Or whatever. That was my worst nightmare. I think was like being drunk and being picked up by my parents.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that was
yeah.
like I just didn't want to. I wanted to avoid that entirely. So when I got out here, it was like all holds barred.
Yeah.
And I had like I remember I had a bottle of Jack next to my bed.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
But
we were actually drinking for real. That was fun.
we went crazy. We were playing catch up.
Yeah, we were playing catch
That
up.
first
Yep.
couple months was crazy. Actually.
Yeah.
But we went to this party, and it was like I think somebody's 21st birthday party or something.
Yeah.
And everybody
They
was
had
drinking
a bunch of alcohol. We were drinking a bunch of it. That's for sure.
We were drinking a lot of it. I remember there was a bowl full of gummy worms that was soaked in alcohol
We did have the gummies too.
that I ate like a shit ton of. That was when I think I had my first joint there too.
Oh,
And I
damn.
did not know how to smoke, so I
Damn.
coughed, and it was fucking horrible.
I love
but-
the coughs. I still get them now as I don't smoke anymore. It's hilarious.
But so what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you remember this. Tell me how you remember this absinthe being introduced.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I'm remembering this right because it sounds fucking insane.
Okay, wait. Are you gonna say it first?
I
or
want you
me
to say it because I've told it before and I don't want to color your memory.
So I don't really know how it was introduced. I know that somebody, because we were already drunk at this point, and then
Yes.
somebody comes with a bottle or something, just absinthe, and it's just like, go, yeah, we're all drinking it. And it's like, I don't really know what absinthe is, but I heard it's crazy, it's bad. Let's drink it.
Yeah.
and then we had it, and then I forgot we had it, and then things went so awry after, and I didn't think about like, oh, this is happening because like everybody's like really messed up.
That was
I didn't know why these events were happening, but it makes sense after knowing that, like, oh yeah, the tipper was like, oh, we had absinthe.
that was. I have never been to a place where people were more fucked up
Yeah.
than in that apartment that day for that party.
Yes, for multiple people to be that fucked up.
It was that many people that were like near blackout drunk.
It was a lot of people. I don't know how many people were blackout drunk, but I know people were fucking fighting. I know there was like people were scratching. I got scratched the fuck up.
I got knocked out at one point.
Somebody picked up like a statue or something and hit him in the back of the head. This is how I remember this.
Yeah.
And he collapsed
I
onto the
went
ground. And I was
down.
like, Jalen? And he was like, what? And I was like, okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
But I remember just fighting.
Yeah.
In that apartment.
Yes.
But it wasn't real. It was a joke. It was like a joke.
It was like
fight.
a joke. It was kind of scary. Not really. It wasn't. We were too drunk to be properly scared, but it was weird because it was like a laughing, fighting thing. I don't know, like
It was like people-
there was laughing, but it was a joke, but it was also like fighting.
was like people were-
enough to get knocked over the head with and put out. You know, so
Dude,
it's just like
people were play fighting, but like serious. Is all I can describe it as, because it wasn't serious, but it wasn't. I don't know what the fuck, man.
right, like there was real strangling happening, but it was also like smiling at the same time. Like Joker unleashed some gas in the room.
But what I remember, about this is that I blinked,
yeah.
and we were in Home Depot.
Oh, that's true.
What the
Yeah.
fuck was that? How
Yeah.
did we get there? What was the reason? Why were we there?
The next day, I had like a vacuum or something. We needed to be in Home Depot. But all I know is that like we woke up in pain and was like, just like mission, like, all right, we got to go to Home Depot. And begrudgingly ended up at Home Depot.
I was not conscious.
There
for
was
this.
a lot of moments of like blinking and the next scene was there. Like after the absinthe.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I remember coming to, like, I blinked and I was looking at piping or something. Or
Yeah.
like 2x4s. I was sitting there and I was like,
I think when you pointed it out, I became conscious. And I was just like,
yeah, it was
oh,
like,
yeah,
did
we are here. Like, it
Yeah.
was like autopilot until we were there.
That
How
was
I
like
remember
the-
this was that somebody came in with the, like, did you ever see Anastasia?
Sounds familiar.
That it was like that animated movie where the guy had like the vial of green shit. I remember this guy came in with absinthe.
Yeah.
And I remember it in a vial. I feel like it wasn't in a bottle. I feel like it wasn't in like a fucking thing or a container. It was in a vial. I swear to God.
That sounds about right. It was
and we split it because nobody wanted to drink it because I think everybody was like,
No, the birthday girl drank it.
oh,
too.
yeah, she clearly.
Yeah.
She must have.
Yeah.
But
That's wild. Yeah. Really
That's
just drank some
insane.
green shit from some vials.
we drank green shit out of a vial from a complete stranger
Yeah.
that like we did not know. I didn't know that guy.
My sister's always telling me stop taking drugs from strangers. And I guess I just never learned.
Well, on that note, bye everybody. Thanks for showing up. We'll I don't know, maybe we'll do this again if we remember more shit.
Yeah.
If we ever talk about shit like this again and
Yeah, jot
shit
it
comes
down.
up, I'll write it
Yeah,
down,
jot it down
and then
for
we'll put it
sure.
on a list of things and we'll get it all on fucking documented
A
and
list
shit.
of things.
But yeah, this is way longer. I expected to go for like maybe 40 minutes. But
So much
it's been
content.
2
dude.
hours.
God's body.
You still gotta go back home. You still gotta get
Like I
back
had
home.
to get home.
At least there's not traffic at this hour, at least.
You'd
I
be
don't know.
surprised.
Relative.
I don't
That's
know what's
true.
out there.
That's
You don't
true.
know what's out there?
I live up the street. You still have to get home.
I gotta get home.
All right. Well, bye, guys.